Hello and welcome to News Morning here on New Day on TV3. My name is Beatrice Sedu, coming up in the next few minutes. Fair Wages and Salaries Commission calls on organised labour to embrace dialogue and cooperation in resolving disputes over wages, allowances and conditions of service. So on the programme this morning, traders at Konkomba Yarn Market, Konkomba Cargo Station and Nzima Market in Accra vow to resist any attempt to demolish the markets. Much later on the program, New Patriotic Party calls for separate state-led investigation into AXA scandal. My name is Beatrice Sedu. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Now, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayine, has disclosed that the receipt of the PricewaterhouseCoopers report on the botched National Cathedral project. Now, speaking at the launch of the free primary health care in Zuarungu, the Bolga East MP said the money spent on the project could have successfully completed the Agenda 111 district hospitals across the country. There has been a resurgence of calls for the completion of the controversial cathedral by some religious leaders in recent times, despite expending some $97 million. And I'll bring you more of that report very shortly. Ahead of that, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission is urging organised labour to embrace dialogue and cooperation in resolving dispute over wages, allowances and conditions of service. The call comes amid concerns from some labour groups that the proposed commission could affect their negotiations on conditions of service. Labour Affairs correspondent Daniel Opoku brought us this report earlier.
Government, through the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, is preparing to transition the commission to the Independent Public Emoluments Commission. The new body is expected to provide an independent framework for dealing with compensation, allowances and conditions of service across the public sector. However, some labour unions have raised concerns about the proposed arrangement, arguing that it could undermine their ability to negotiate favourable conditions of service for their members. The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission says these concerns must be addressed through engagement and dialogue. Dr. Josh Smith-Graham is also urging organised labour to support the transition, arguing that cooperation will help build confidence and fairness in Ghana's public sector remuneration system.
Workers should not be left to speculate about why one group receives one form of treatment while others receive something different. Where differentiation is justified, the basis must be clear and understandable. Where disparities cannot be objectively defended, we must have the courage to examine and correct them. That is the standard to which the new architecture should hold for all of us.
But organised labour says its support for the new commission will depend on safeguards that protect the interests and negotiating rights of workers. Joshua Ansa is the Secretary General of the Trade Union Congress and spokesperson for organised labour.
I think we all met and brought on board this single spine. We thought that was going to cure all our diseases in terms of remuneration in this country. But what do you see today? It's rather killing our spirit. So if today we are here to usher in or to transit from fair wages into Independent Emolument Commission, then it's a good news. We will embrace it and follow it to the latter.
Meanwhile, the Minister for Labour, Jobs and Employment, Dr. Rashid Perpo, is calling on organised labour to take into account the financial capacity of government when negotiating demands.
The Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment will continue to support a process that promotes decent work, institutional harmony, fairness, and social justice, whilst recognizing the need for prudent management of the public's resources.
The stakeholders say continued dialogue will be critical to building consensus on the proposed Independent Public Emoluments Commission and ensuring fairness and sustainability in public sector pay administration.
Let's return to our earlier story about the Attorney General, Dr. Dominic Ayine, confirming the receipts of the PricewaterhouseCoopers report on the botched National Cathedral project. Watch this.
We have an uncompleted Agenda 111 hospital here in Bolga East. And I have been on the neck of my colleague, the health minister, to ensure that it is completed. Today, I had to compel him, by the powers vested in me as Attorney General of the Republic, to disclose to me the list of districts that have been included in the Agenda 111 completion program. And when he asked his his IT people to pull it up, there was Bolga East, Zorungu listed on it. So, Mr. President, it is better to complete Agenda 111 than to spend money on a national cathedral. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you may laugh, but there has been a resurgence in messaging about the national cathedral by very eminent religious people. I want to say this. The money that was spent on the national cathedral from the report of PwC that was presented to me just last Friday, and Mr. President, I'm sorry about this because I have not briefed you on it yet, but I have the report. You don't build the house of God in the manner in which they went about it. That is all that I can say. But the important message is that the money could have been used to complete the district hospital.
Now, the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission has criticized members of the Ghana Association of University Administrators over what it describes as unfair accusations that the Commission has failed to ensure the payment of their allowances. Dr. Smith Graham is the Chief Executive of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission.
The argument they are putting across is very unfair to us, very unfair to the labor front, and very unfair to everybody. First of all, we've met with them, had lengthy discussions with them, and concluded negotiations with them. And then it came to the time of UTAG. We also had the same lengthy negotiation and concluded with UTAG. It is surprising that when you see one group concludes its negotiation, you go and look at yours and then start doing that comparison. In the labor front, that is not even done. If Gawa has a problem, they should come to Fair Wage and Salaries Commission during the Independent Emolument Commission discussion, and they should come as Gawa. The issue of riding on the back of another union is something when we encourage, there will be chaos. No salary administration can encourage that because they do different jobs all together, and so we cannot put them together like that. So I'm telling them that they should prepare. And the Independent Emolument Commission is here. There's likely to be a job evaluation again. The reason why Fair Wages some time ago started taking Labour Commission to court was because of this.
Some more here, and traders at the Konkumba Yarn Market, Konkumba Cargo Station, and Nzima Market, all located at Old Fadama in the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, have vowed to resist any attempt to demolish the market. This follows an eviction notice issued by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly as part of plans to pull down market around the Yarn Market to create space for the construction of a 24-hour market.
It is 12 noon at the Kokumba Yarn Market in Accra, and trading activities are still in full swing. From yam sellers to buyers and headquarters, the market is bustling with activity as traders go about their daily activities. As traders go about their daily business. Not far from the Kokumba Yarn Market is the Nzima Oil Market, which is equally busy with trading activities. However, these heavily populated markets could soon be demolished to pave way for the construction of government's 24-hour market. But traders, led by the market leaders, say they are not prepared to live without a fight. They insist the existing markets are already providing employment and supporting economic activities around the capital city.
So where the trailers are, we are told that place is the Nzima market, where the Greater Accra Metropolitan Assembly says is going to develop it into the 24-hour economy market. This place is the only major place where trailers traveling from the northern part of the country park and offload their goods.
The General Secretary of the Kokuma Yam Market, Solomon Thamja, says the market is already operating around the clock.
You know, what are the intentions of the 24-hour economy? The way we understand it is to create more jobs, to provide more avenues for people who are interested in entering into gainful employment. And here, we are already doing that.
Thamja says rather than demolishing the market, the authorities should focus on improving the existing facilities.
Yams are not sold in storage buildings. And we don't sell our yams on pavements. They'll get rotten. Look, sometimes the government embarks on certain policies without doing due diligence study of the area.
Some traders also expressed concern about the eviction notice. They cite the demolition of the former Agbobloshi Onion Market, where, according to them, significant state resources were used to demolish and fence the area. They say the site was subsequently left unused for its intended purpose and has since been taken over by other activities. A visit by the news team to the site of the former Onion Market appeared to confirm that the area is currently being used by scrap dealers, waste collectors and other businesses. For now, traders at the Kokumba Yam Market, Kokumba Cargo Station and Nzima Market say they will resist any attempt to demolish their businesses and are calling on the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to engage them before taking any further action. Joseph Armstrong, Gold Alogbe, TV3, Kokumba Yam Market, Accra.
We go to the Ashanti region because that region continues to record Ghana's highest maternal mortality rate, with nearly 1 in every 4 maternal deaths nationwide recorded in the Ashanti region. Health authorities say the figures are worrying, but insist Ashanti's position as Ghana's major referral hub also means that the region receives critical cases from across the country. Ibrahim Abubakar reports.
For every woman, pregnancy should end with the joy of holding a newborn. But for some families, the journey to motherhood ends in tragedy. In Ashanti, the numbers are raising concerns.
In 2024, it was 195.6 mothers died for every 100,000 live births. And then in 2025, we had 196.7 mothers dying per 100,000 live births. And you can see in terms of the contributions to this figure in the country. Ashanti, as Honorable said, is leading 24%.
Concerned about the trend, the Deputy Minister for Health, Dr. Grace Ayensu Dankwa, is in the region engaging health officials and other key stakeholders on measures to reverse the trend and reduce preventable maternal death.
The reason we're here today is because we have done so much, but so much doesn't seem to be getting us the necessary result. So something has to change, or we have to look at it from a different angle. Our maternal mortality index is actually 235 per 100,000 live births. The top 11 regions where these deaths are coming from, number 1 is Ashanti region. The deaths are here not because it's Ashanti regional problem, so don't take it personal. It is because now you're getting more referrals here. The research also shows that most of these women, by the time they get here, between 24 to 48 hours, the death has already happened.
For health authorities, the figures point to a wider problem of delays in identifying complications, inadequate capacity in peripheral facilities, and weaknesses in referral and coordination.
1, clinical mentorship. 2, let's add quarterly reviews. 3, let's think about virtual labor room, where people can support others in the periphery to address them without coming or if they have to even come, what they have to do before they come. Then lastly, the need for us to strengthen coordination and the feedback mechanisms.
With just 4 years to 2030, Ghana's target for the Sustainable Development Goal of reducing maternal death to 70 per 100,000 live births remains a daunting challenge. And in Ashanti, where the country's most complicated maternal cases are increasingly being referred, health authorities say saving more mothers will require action long before they arrive at the region's major hospitals.
In politics, the New Patriotic Party is calling for a separate state-led investigation into the AXCA scandal, which the party has dubbed as the Holy Rain scandal. Here is Member of Parliament for Mesha South, Naneje Bafwewa, speaking at a media briefing earlier.
There was a relative of the president on the Airbus scandal. And on this one too, a relative of the president has been listed. And in all material situations, the common denominator here is President Mahama. In Airbus scandal, it was President Mahama. And in respect of the Holy Rain scandal, it's President Mahama. The question is, who is this relative? Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most disturbing aspects of this matter is the payment ledger introduced into evidence before the United States court. The ledger reportedly contains a breakdown of payments allegedly earmarked for various individuals and institutions connected to the transaction. The relevant entries appear at page 14 of the court record. Among the entries are amounts associated with Ghanaian public institutions and persons connected to the approval process. These entries cannot simply be ignored. They raise questions that are capable of objective verification through financial records, institutional records, correspondence, procurement documents, meeting minutes, and other official documentation. The New Patriotic Party therefore believes that the appropriate Ghanaian investigative authorities must obtain and examine complete court records and trace relevant payment, beneficiary, intermediary, and decision connected to the project.
Separate developments, the MPP is also encouraging healthy competition among aspirants for its national executive election set to happen on October 3, with strong guidelines issued to guarantee an event-free process. Nominations will open from August 17, while filing of the forms will take place from August 23, as relevant eligibility criteria have been outlined. Christian Yale has the rest of the story.
Chairman of the NPP's National Elections Committee, Frederick Opariansa, outlined a calendar of events ahead of the election, urging prospective candidates to study the rules governing the process.
The approved cost of nomination forms is as follows. For the national chairmanship position, it's 50,000 Ghana cedis. For vice chairpersons, 30,000 Ghana cedis. For the general secretary position, 25,000 Ghana cedis. All other positions, 10,000 Ghana cedis, with a special consideration for the special wings. Nasara, women and youth paying 8,000 Ghana cedis.
Members of the National Elections Committee cannot contest or affiliate themselves with any aspirant. The party says at least 1/3 of delegates to the National Delegate Conference must be present to form a quorum.
An aspirant must be a known and active registered party member for at least 2 years. Be of good character. Be a member in good standing. Pay the prescribed fees. Satisfy the National Vetting Committee that he or she qualifies to contest. We therefore encourage prospective aspirants to study the regulations carefully before submitting their nominations. We also expect that competition to be conducted with respect to one another, respect for the party, and respect for the rules governing the election.
The New Patriotic Party says it has put down enough structures for persons who may be aggrieved, and so it has set up a vetting committee chaired by Cecilia Benadapa and also an appeals committee to be chaired by Jogate. Those aspirants who may be aggrieved can file a written petition to the appeals committee to be considered within 48 hours. But those who will still not like the outcome of the appeal decision can further appeal at the National Executive Committee.
This architecture is deliberate. We want decisions to be made according to rules, and where somebody feels aggrieved, for that person to have an established avenue for redress. Our appeal to everybody is therefore to use the institutions and procedures established by the party.
And that's all for News Morning here on New Day on TV3. My name is Beatrice Sedu. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Do continue with us on New Day.
Hello, my name is Pamela from Customer Service. Please revalidate your account by texting your Ghana card number to 0500,000 247.
Hey, Abili, wabadim.
Madam, give me the numbers behind your ATM card. I'm calling from the head office.
An email was delivered across to our customers.
by your grace, you came and saved me. It's one of the songs that used to be on my playlist as in very up. It's gone down a bit. It's a song by Stormzy and the choir, I think Kingdom Choir or something.
Yeah.
Blinded by your grace.
I love the song.
Yeah, Lord, I'm not worthy. I've been broken. You have fixed me, and I'm blinded by your grace now.
And a lot of people, I mean, you can find yourself in, I mean, just be part of the journey of life, and you would attest to the fact that, yes, there are times that you need fixing and all of that. So I love the song. I love the message of it. I love the melody. I love everything about it. When I saw Coco playing it, I was like, okay, that's great. And I mean, coming a day after such a tragic incident, it makes a lot of sense as well.
I actually use that road. I virtually use that road all the time.
Yes.
There are periods that I don't like using it because almost every now and then there is some accident on that road. And whenever there is a little incident, there's a lot of traffic. But this morning I used it again because when we discussed the topics for today, I had seen that we're going to do the street light situation. So I wanted to see what the street light situation was like. So I actually
at the time when you use the road, normally it's not the time when you need street lights.
No, you need street lights. I use the road around when I'm coming. I leave home at 5, so it's dark.
Oh, so actually that's your main road then.
4:50, 4:55 thereabout. So it's dark. So I used it, and very soon Christian's report will confirm it. From so if you start from the Pokwas interchange, when you are coming from the Ashoman Estate Kwabenya side, there's just a little part of the interchange that has the lights working. When you get off it, there's no street light from the tip of the Pokwas interchange all the way to Ofanko, all the way to Achimota. Just some little part, there's a little bit of light, that's all. No light all the way through Ofanko to Achimota, all the way to the Achimota part that takes you up all the way to the Achimota new station. No street lights all throughout, and it's crazy.
Yesterday I was having a conversation with the man we call Rev, one of our camera persons in here, and he made a statement. I so totally agreed with him that Ghana's roads are so dangerous. Because it's not just this area. Unfortunately, this is an area where we see a lot of accidents. And yesterday, the officials we spoke to actually confirmed that every month we get an accident, especially around that same spot where we had the unfortunate incident yesterday. But the issue of street lights is spread across the country. We've done a number of reports on street lights, and I mean, over and again. And you find roads that have potholes, sometimes you call them manholes, really, in the middle of the road, and yet the street lights are not working, and people are driving with their highlights on. And so if you don't know the road and you find yourself in a very terrible situation, it's going to be just dangerous. And it's unfortunate that really this incident had to happen. And for me, it breaks my heart that we seem to be, and I mentioned that yesterday, reactionary. We're waiting when something happens. Like yesterday, I think it was the Accra mayor I heard say that, okay, now that we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I asked myself the question, didn't we know that we had to do these things before the accident happened?
They actually do know. I mean, we know that when the regional minister was appointed, she told all of us that within 100 days, Accra was going to be lit. The street lights were going to be functioning. And mind you, there's the street light levy that we all do pay for, but the lights virtually do not work. And you correctly identified two things. You talked about the beam lights that we use, the highlights that we use. It's a function of the situation because you can't see. So you
but
want
people actually don't even know that the highlights are on.
Yes,
they don't even understand
because they can't see. I mean, I don't use it, but I get people using it because they can't see. That is one. And the second part is the potholes that you make reference to. It also means that if you are not using your highlights, you become reactive. So there will be instances where you are speeding and you see something, you just have to react quickly. And that could pose a danger for the person behind you or the person who is coming towards you as well. And I was listening to some of the eyewitnesses yesterday, and we were talking about how there was an initial tricycle and it happened, and subsequently the cars were just coming and running into it and all over the place. And I could perfectly, as someone who uses the road, I could perfectly relate to it because every time, especially when you are coming from the Pokwasi side, whenever I'm turning around, I'm just, the road is not straight. It moves a lot. And I'm just always like, what if something is just in front of me now? I always say that the reactive time will be impossible
Yes.
because there's another vehicle on the lane beside you.
Yes.
So it means that you can't move to the lane quickly.
Yes.
And you just see it in front of you and you have no choice than to just run into it.
And then cars are spoilt and are stationary. Sometimes they can be
They're all
there
over.
for
In
days.
fact, this when I was coming this
Yes.
morning, on the left side of the lane, those who are heading towards the Nsaum side,
Yes.
I counted at least 3 cars that had broken down. On the lane that I used as well, I counted about 2 long vehicles. They're always the long vehicles that had also broken down. In fact, we now know that there are instances where they're actually not broken down cars. Sometimes the people have actually parked to sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah, they've
and
parked to sleep.
this morning I saw a 207 bus. That's the one the Trotros normally
Yes, yeah.
use. And where it was parked, it was so dark. I was just fortunate that I had decided I was using the other lane. So
Yeah.
it was just when I veered to the inner lane, because it was parked in the outer lane, that I realized, oh, apparently there's actually a parked 207 bus,
Yeah.
and the place was dark.
Yeah.
And a place like the Mahama Road, which is, I mean, you call it a prime, nice community highway, as it were. Most of the streets
Yeah, that area is very
are
dark.
not
Yeah, that area is
working.
very dark. I've used is the Mahama roundabout.
Exactly,
I've
and you
used
see
that place
where
one time in the
the
evening
late
before, yeah.
Captain Mahama's statue
is,
is
yes.
just around
Pitch
that
dark.
roundabout which
Pitch
leads
dark,
to the
yeah.
Leicester Hospital. There was a day I was even driving a smaller car at the time, and it was so dark I actually drove onto the roundabout like that. You know, it's a bit
Yes, yes,
elevated.
it's elevated, yes.
And anytime up till now, anytime I'm driving and I get to that place, it's like I just learned how to drive. I just have to take a wider, you know,
Just to avoid it.
just to avoid
because you
entering
can't see
it.
it.
And
Yeah.
this is a beautiful, you know, highway within this community, and most of the street lights are not working. And sometimes you're driving late, and yes, it's a military zone, but anything could happen. Criminals could just hide in the bush somewhere and do something. I understand the bit where, you know, there was a time that the National Security Secretariat took it as a project to be installing, fixing some of our street lights, especially on the Temamoto Way, getting to the abattoir area. I think at the time, that's when Colonel Bevrolate was the National Security Coordinator. They fixed the ones with the solar panels. And the complaints that came was that people were stealing the LED within the street lights. But how do we get to fix, you know, the problem where it becomes difficult for people to steal? And when we catch them, we punish them enough. Because it doesn't make sense to me that we have roads without street lights, and our roads have poor, there are potholes in them,
yeah.
because we are not maintaining them. We keep saying that it's a bit expensive. And sometimes if there are no potholes, they are just not good roads. And it becomes very dangerous, and we're paying our taxes. I always say that when you go to the mall, after you've bought your thing, just check your receipt. Not just for you to keep it as your bookkeeping, but check how much of the taxes you're paying. And at the end of the day, if I'm paying all of that and my life is still endangered because the roads are not, don't have lights and there are potholes and all of that, then there are so many questions that are left unanswered.
I really think it's embarrassing for the country that in the morning on prime time television we have to talk about street lights. I mean, it's the state of affairs, and I'm sure if somebody is watching us in some other jurisdiction this morning, he would just be wondering
what
why.
Are they talking about?
Why you're talking about street lights? Like, yes, it is what it is, and it's the reason why we have to call out the city authorities, the various assemblies, the roads and highways, the regional minister who promised that within 100 days. And
apparently
you said something about the lights being solar paneled.
Yes.
Most of them are supposed to be solar paneled now. And also most of the roads actually have the lights. They are just not working. I don't know how. They are just not working. And it's very difficult to understand why it is not. I mean, I use the Pokwas interchange a lot. When the lights are on all over the place, it's a beautiful drive. You just appreciate the architecture. You see everything.
But you know,
so
funny
well
enough, I don't like using that road because I used it twice and I got lost.
That road. If you need to carefully plan. You need to carefully plan and decide where you are going and which aspect you are using. Else, if you get lost by where you have to go and do the U-turn.
And the second time I got lost, it was actually after 10 p.m. And can you imagine taking the round? It was like a 360, and then I just had to find somewhere, and then I found myself in almost somebody's house.
I used to encounter that difficulty, but I'm very familiar with the road now. I know where each and every part of it is going. So, I mean, this is basically this morning segment that we are talking about already. We'll bring you that interaction that Christian Yale had with drivers. He was there a bit earlier than I had even used, and he basically reports the same matters that I uncovered as well. So we'll be sharing that with you as part of this morning segment. And as always, the WhatsApp line is on the screen. It's not a line that we are hiding somewhere like some of you have been suggested on the screen. 0500 516 444. Just send your message.
Please don't
We'll share
call.
it with the rest of the world as well.
Yes.
We would also have the big issue segment a bit later on, where we'll talk about the issues surrounding the scholarship secretariat. We also talk about the NPP's reorganization, asking the question what type of leadership that's the party, the opposition party, should look out for in terms of the upcoming elections. Then, as usual, we'll give out some money. The
Yes, we
jackpot
have
will
a
be taking
jackpot
place.
today. How much are we giving?
2,000 and 3,000.
Okay, that's 5,000 cedis.
5,000
You
cedis,
want
yes.
to take advantage of this, please. I don't know whether it's a short or long weekend, but whichever of them you're going to have, who doesn't want to get free 3,000 Ghana cedis or free 2,000 Ghana cedis? Please, if you don't need it, you can give the money to your loved ones.
Yes.
Joseph Akable, don't play it.
Oh, the last time I was checking my phone. The last time they sent me a message. Hi, it's even here. It says win cool cash on TV3 with MG jackpot today.
I see.
Dial star 439 hash and choose option 8. My mother.
We have caught you, or you have reported yourself.
I didn't win, oh Charlie. I didn't win. They sent me. So they sent me. I think it was actually the message was actually. Yeah, it was last week Friday.
So you actually played?
last week. No, I had done it before, but this message was.
So they were reminding you that it's time to play.
This message was last week Friday actually, and ironically we were actually on air. It was around 6:35. We were on air when a message came in. So when we had crossed over and I saw it, and I was like, Charlie, what's up? They are reminding me to participate in it, so you can participate to get a chance to
want to take advantage of it and play and get your 2,000 or 3,000 Ghana cedis. I think you should have free money, yes. And you pick MG jackpot, which is option 8. But remember that before you even get to that point of picking option 8, which is MG jackpot, you have to first dial star 439 hash, and then you select option 8. Play as many as possible, just so you stand the chance of getting the highest. We're giving the 5,000 to 2 of you. So 3,000 Ghana cedis and 2,000 Ghana cedis. So start playing now. Possibly we could do the first draw after the big issue if you play early and play a lot. So the ball is in your court. Keep playing and get 5,000 or 3,000 Ghana cedis. And you're welcome to this morning segment. And you're welcome to this morning segment on TV3 Newday. We've been telling you about street lights, but we did tell you also that our colleague Christian Yale has brought us some report. And so we're bringing you details of that because from Achimota to Pokwasi, major portions of the N6 are plunged in pitch darkness and road users continue to topple in fear over an important corridor spanning some 16 kilometers. Well, a day after the tragic accident involving 6 vehicles and a tricycle that killed 11 people, Christian Yale has visited the exact spot this dawn and has found that none of the street lights is working on the stretch. He paints a dangerous picture in this report. Watch this.
Right, so I'm standing at the spot, the exact spot where the multiple vehicle crash happened on Thursday early morning at 4 a.m. As I speak, my time is 5:27 a.m. And you realize that this entire stretch is in darkness. There is no street light that is functioning. And so, as it were, I'm going to try to show you the poles that are erected, that are standing in the middle of the road. However, you see, as it is in your shot, that none of the street lights on this stretch, and indeed, all the way from Achimota towards the Pokwase side, just when I started my drive, I realized that there is no single line that is working. And we are talking about a stretch that is spanning about 16 kilometers from Achimota all the way to Pokwase. We are talking about some 16 kilometers. But you realize that where we are standing, where the accident happened on Thursday, you see that ahead, just ahead of us, is a sharp curve. So the understanding we have from the blow-by-blow account given to us yesterday by eyewitnesses, most of the cars that ran into the stationary cars causing this accident that claimed about 11 lives and about 13 injuries did not see ahead of them. Now, you know that ordinarily when the street lights are functioning or are working, they would provide some assistance, and so drivers would be able to react, what you call reaction time. Drivers are able to react as early as possible when there is danger ahead. So imagine if there is a vehicle that does not have a good highlight. It means that they are almost driving in pitch darkness. They topple in darkness, and then it happens as though they are not just swerving potholes. I mean, fortunately, this stretch or this side of the stretch of the road is well made, it's well constructed, and so there are no potholes, as it were. But along most or large portions of this road, all the way from Achimota towards Pokwase, and when we are returning back to Accra, you realize that it is the same. So I am going to show you around to also let you know that ordinarily, when you get here, the situation is not as good as it should be. Now, the accident happened just where I am standing. This is the Accra-bound stretch of the National Road 6. This is N6. It is such an important artillery road that we cannot joke with. This is not the first time that I have been here. I remember that in 2024, on multiple occasions, I came on this stretch to report about the street lights and the darkness all over this place. But we have this unfortunate incident happening here. Now, what happens also, and per what we know, is that there are laws. There are laws that give clear mandate to the metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies concerning street lights. And very shortly, I'm going to run you through some of these laws. Now, when you look at these laws, they even introduce levies. And so there are levies that are embedded in the electricity bills that you and I pay. So almost every month, portions of the electricity bills that we pay are towards, street lighting, so that we would have the street lighting component active and working. Now, it is one of the reasons that you have Ghanaians complain over and over again about why they continue to pay these levies towards street lighting, yet it is an absolute failure that day in, day out, on important roads, as it were, and when you go into even greater Accra, the central business district itself, when you go into the Accra Metropolitan Assembly itself, it is all over. It then again brings in the conversation about what the regional minister promised to do, gave herself some days that she is going to ensure that all across the street, all across the capital, we are going to have our street lights working. Now, when you do the fact check, you realize that none of that has been achieved, and it is almost a failure that this country has not been able to, get its lighting system working. And so I'll just pan to show you around, so that the focus is not on me, because we are painting a worrying picture of how the situation is when you get to this stretch and you realize that all around. And I'm going to take you back to the side that is heading towards Pokwase. Now, this is between the Ofankor barrier and the John Tay section, and you realize that it is an absolute failure. And so this is what we know concerning street lighting, and even on this stretch. Now, we know that
driving across or all along the Achimota-Pokwase stretch, like I said, which is about 16 kilometers in the evening, at night, or early morning at dawn, like I find myself here right now with the team, you realize that it is increasingly a death trap. And it is increasingly difficult because large portions of the road are plunged into darkness, and visibility is key or is important to road safety. That is the point we are making here. Visibility is important to road safety. And so, as it were, you know that from Achimota Mall, as we drove past the St. John's Grammar, Tantra Hills, you know, Taifa Junction, now we are at Ofanko Barrier, everywhere is in pitch darkness. Now, like I was telling you, when you read the Road Traffic Act 2004, Act 683, and also when you read the Road Traffic Regulations 2012 LI 2180, they all play emphasis, or they place emphasis on ensuring that hazards on our roads are minimized, with authorities obligated to provide road infrastructure that does not expose users to avoidable danger. And the word here is avoidable, team. Now, what happened yesterday could have been avoided, because then you have now an Aboboya driver who was reportedly knocked down by a truck. The truck ran away. A policeman gets here and is trying to direct traffic. Now you have series of cars run into one another. But beyond the laws that I've mentioned, we know that MMDAs, as I said earlier, are mandated by the Local Governance Act 2016, Act 936. And you know that at the national level, this responsibility about street lighting falls under the Ministry of Energy, and then it will liaise with, you know, agencies like the Electricity Company of Ghana, and then you have the Department of Urban Roads, or the Highways Authority as well, playing a major role in ensuring that, you know, street lighting on all the major corridors are dealt with, and ensure that they are on every material time, especially in the night and at dawn. Because then, again, when you read a lot of the statistics and you abreast yourself of data from the National Road Safety Authority and related agencies, you can realize that most of the accidents that happen on our roads are due to lack of visibility. You know. So it means that, and presupposes that, the importance of street light cannot be overemphasized. And so we know that there is that. Now, also under Section 4 of the Street Lighting in Ghana Policy Framework 2011, MMDAs again are to own, install, and maintain street lights. And that is what establishes the framework for funding through a revised street lighting levy, which is collected as part of electricity bills, like I said. And so citizens would always question, and it is legitimate to question, why we regularly would make payments for these levies for electricity bills. However, we do not get the benefits thereof. Now, when street lights are not functioning, like in this case, and you realize that in your shot, it is so dark, and I mean, as of now, we are around 5:36 a.m. and so it realizes that day is breaking, as it were, and then very shortly you'd have the daylight, and so there is a little improvement in the lighting system. But non-functioning street lights, as it were, compromise, you know, reaction time, obscure pedestrians and stationary vehicles, and even give room for criminal activities in most of the instances. Now, the law is clear and direct, with mandates to all those who need to act. However, we've not had that response. We've not had that reaction from authorities and from all those who are concerned, and from all those who need to act to ensure that all important road stretch or road, you know, corridors like this Accra, Achimota, Pokwase, Sawam, Kumasi Highway, that's an important road, you know, if you ask me. This is a very crucial road that we cannot underestimate the importance of street light. And it becomes worrying, and even as of now it is drizzling, it becomes very worrying that we need to talk about this over and over again, and especially when it has involved loss of lives. That cannot be, left like that. And then it's why we have come here at this early morning to give you a clear picture of what it looks like on this road all the way. And when you go further to even the Pokwase interchange, which was commissioned just about 4 years ago, when that one was commissioned in the night at dawn like this, when you use a stretch, it was so beautiful. It was so amazing that you get to enjoy the beauty of that stretch. Now, when you get there around this time, it is a different picture. It is a different story altogether. All those lights are almost in darkness. Then it brings the worry, and one would ask that, is it that our leaders and those who need to act on these things do not use these corridors, do not use this road stretch, and imagine, like some would say, and as the conversation has been over the period since this accident happened yesterday, that if this had involved, God forbid it, but if this had involved a politician or someone of an important stature in the society, the reaction, of course, would have been different. And then you have people even mention that even as this happened, we've not really seen a political reaction or reaction from government, concerning this. And that is another worry, another conversation on its own. But what we have seen here is that almost all the street lights on this stretch, from Achimota to where we are right now, of Anko Barrier, you pass by, you go ahead to the Pokwase interchange, and all of those places are off. And so when you ask the question, now you would continually get an instance where blame games would continue. And that is almost like problematic as the problem itself that we talk about. And so we have come here to show you what it is, and hopefully we'll get authorities to react to ensure that this important road, the National Road 6, the N6, gets the necessary lighting that it deserves to get. Otherwise, road users would continue to topple in darkness, and even as they navigate all the challenges on this road, they will not, avoid trouble, but they would constantly live in fear, as it were. I am Christian Yale with Lord Salikem from the Ofanko Barrier, and this is the inner side of the road. When you look at just the outer lane as well, you realize that it is the same problem, and everyone is affected. We are hoping that there will be some drastic measures taken to ensure that we do not continue to record road accidents that are largely influenced by lack of visibility, lack of proper lighting on the roads, and all the troubles that it comes with. Back to you in studios, team.
Thank you very much, Christian Yale. And as he was talking, the question I was asking myself was, where are the 85% street lights that the regional minister said, Lindo Klu said that she had fixed? And earlier when we were talking, even before we started the program, we're talking about the promise she made within the first 50 days in office, fixing 70% of street lights. They are not there.
Yeah.
Where are the street lights?
I mean, these are some of the reasons why when people are going to occupy sensitive positions like the minister for the capital, I mean, the region where the capital is located, is a reason why they ought to be vetted. They ought to be asked questions about.
Yes, and she was one of the designates who was not
she was basically
vetted.
sent through without any questions being asked. These are some of the reasons why we need to question people on their plans for the region. And I mean, it's something that we can continue to talk about.
And one other point that Christian Yale made, of course, based on the data we have, had to do with the number of agencies that are involved. It's my opinion that this probably is contributing to the problems. Because anytime that we've had street light stories being told, we go to the Highways Authority, and then we are transferred somewhere, Energy Commission, Energy Ministry. Now we're hearing of ECG. Is it possible that we can just put it under one? Let's hang it on an institution's neck. That this institution is responsible. If I need ECG's help, I come to you.
The behind the scenes, they actually know who exactly is supposed sort it out. They actually know. I think that the fact of having multiple agency and it being a safety concern for everyone should rather be the reason why it ought to be fixed. It shouldn't be the reason why. I mean, psychologists they call it social loafing, where basically it's like there's a situation and I think you are responsible. You also think I'm responsible.
Yeah.
So basically, no one does anything. But in this situation, to the extent that it has the potential to threaten lives, and if you are just joining us,
we've already lost 11 lives.
Yeah, 12 actually, 12. I mean,
Yes.
from the reports. I mean, if you are just joining us, that's why. We are discussing this and some messages that have been sent here.
But before the messages, though, Christian Yale also engaged some drivers who use the road daily. I think we can bring that to you now.
Light any hano, I can't be pa. We are shankani. Or how Bena Munya or Quanso say Mutrition is saying as a street light in this one.
Oh, okay. Me da say what be some question. Yeah, me shankani am driver kwa to Kumasi. Na end accident is see wa hano no. E fa ba bi men kan say light enya adwuma ka ho na accident so e happy because ade na happy no na boys bi wo area ha. Accident ni si ni car ni di kan bo motor rider bi ama ni wuye ana boys ni say omu peja emu na firi kwan ni mu ana police ni bi so be twam akọ na say no wa free ambulance ma obi em peja funu no enti metimi aka scratch say police ni na accident ni yeden e baaye because time all stop cars no car onu su fi akire ba ni nim say na nim nye ana ono e de be bo trailer ne to enti sprinter na ono ba ne de ohun say e honye ana ogina ana another car at the boss print and so tally when 20 no any who and answer keto I mean say no make quite my sign because na me ra hope and I one akra to Kumasi kwan ye nam so ye kwan nye kwan na say and car kra say si kwan so on ba betwe car na ma ye kra yasem age say o ma hu say owu abansa na on ba betwe car na front ye sra MTT before o ma djuma na o mo ye no ye nka say o mo nya djuma pa o mo ye djuma pa na so o mo mo ye adra for because sabi onye se oba begina kwan so kwan se wo check driving license and say wo check road work and insurance anya no ne adwuma no accident ye si wo kwan so eno na hia ekese because driver ni bi anim say road work wo betwa insurance wo betwa na driving license ewu a obekwa ko renew enti extra police for
na kane no street light no on say cars ne bi so wo a on light na we anim no enso papa enti wondam highway so say speed wo mu na say light no what say baby abe sumama o
no kra na wo kan no driver ni bi so ho no mo a ne car light ne nye obekwa akoto na e na kwadro twen se kawura meto no e ma no enya ade nyina so na kawura betimi ato me car e se wo no me light me hu se nye pe na masesa no ebi wo kra na e bulb na ahye ana ba ko pe na e adwuma ba de ba ko no beko ba ko no so entimi hu ade ye eno so kan na ma accident ye de e ba no ana street light no so no e count se street light ni ye adwuma na wo light nya kra ba bia car se si bia no ube hu se car se si wo. Yeah, and also I can't hope.
Then I be said now where the kind abrobro so kakra but what shall dem pa na I was sem penny for because bosumi bia light bill say yutuano e fan baby ye de asi was say the best share and kania na e wo kwan no so no then I pesa ban and penny for a we hye wan ase no wo ye fa kania wo ye kwan so
ye meka say kania ansem no ye be hu ni say aban no de ama company enti company na say anytime bia no omutimi efa electricity company yeah omo na omo hwe sa enioma we nyina efa ba bi no light ne kura betimi ahye omo twam pa omo hu say light nya adwuma onya de ombeye eno na je se BBC ansa na omo hu say oh aha kura no esum na aba ha na ma de we si ntie ba ba ye ntie sere omo hwe de bia omo hwe say ye nka ne wo street light no ye akwan so no omo hwe say bulb bi hye omo hwe say omo de bi hye mama ye said the bear yakoni die ba no so be kama ma me da se
street light enya juma ka be aban ambo na street light ne mo hwe street light ne enya juma ba ahanu no me madwudwere ni say ahanu no on the cars no esane eba mo the speed no afu overhead no aka mo ye runs for hall no obi adu ha obe slow down ansana wa full overhead no en na beboa ba we kasa be bre so e famfa so biamba o mo ye street runs for cars no be slow down ansana mo full overhead no beboa
eyo how kase pa say ekwan we enwo hia pa o efi ha edwane ede ekokumase ya kwan kama say na post ni gina ho baka na ya ne adwuma anadwo sana ye na mo drive na light ni wona especially wo highlight ni so and so kesi a say your how power
pacho your how mo journalist mo ke me na aban de yes Latin way because if you are call nyina kwa atmota still enye juma di mo na mo ke bia mai
Bringing us that report, of course, interacting with some drivers as well after giving us a real picture, really, of what we can see on the road there and the reason we probably had the accident we did yesterday and the updates there that yesterday we had the report it was 11 and I think that somebody else mentioned that it had moved to 12 in terms of the numbers of people who died. Joseph Akable is on the dashboard. He'll bring us a bit more of your messages, but let me just read a few of them from here to you. And this is coming from Mr. Simon Yenwa. Says, Beatrice, one of the major causes of road crashes in the night is the type of headlights we use. They are so white that they tend to blind on coming drivers. All of us are forced to use this white light because one person alone can change the situation. There's the need for a national policy on the type of headlights used at night. Greetings to you and Akable. And I agree with you 100%, Mr. Simon Yen. And this is coming from Aziz Donla. Says, the mayor for Wa Metropolitan, Honorable Alhaji Nura Danwana, has lighted the city since he took the helm of affairs as mayor. However, the carnage on our road recently is a worrying reminder that the MTTD and GPRT, in fact, GPRT should rather concentrate on improving drivers' consciousness on road safety than increasing lorry fares anytime they have issues with wives at home. Good morning to Alhaji Bangu. So, assist on the Blair, I know you've got a lot more for us from the dashboard.
Yes, a number of you have sent your messages expressing concerns about the situation. Some have also made reference to the situation in their own areas beyond this area that we are talking about. And I want to share some with you right about now. This one is from Comrade Benson, aka Madina JJ. You say, watching the reports of Christian Yale, aside the street lights issue, I saw a Sprinter vehicle stationed on a curve in the inner lane. Isn't that also dangerous?
Yes.
How are we dealing with tricycles on our highways too? Absolutely, you are right about that one. Abdul Rauf Wumbe, you say that good morning from Tamale South. MMDAs should be held responsible for this street light issue. They are with us 24/7 and they also use our roads. Why can't they fix it for our greater good? And from some parts of Bogatanga to Navrongo without street light, Raphael Doe, you sent this one here. Let me play this one and see what you got for us. So this is the video that you have for us now, and it can show a bit of what is happening. You can see on this side, you see that the area is virtually dark. Yeah, I mean you can't even see anything. I mean it's completely dark over there. I mean, so that is what it looks like in terms of that situation there. And let's just reduce this and bring this way, yes. So that we can do a bit more of the message. So that is what we are dealing with in terms of the state of affairs and what we have to do to deal with this street lighting situation once and for all. So,
well, as we try to get more from the dashboard, there's a message from Bolga. Landlord Bolga D-Line says, good morning, Lawyer Joseph Akable and Beatrice. For our street lights and traffic lights in this country, the least talked about, the better. Says for Upper East Region, street lights and traffic light system, very poor and also waste bad road, plus bad roads in the region. Let us use this opportunity to welcome our president to the region of Sun Upper East Region. That's coming from Landlord Bolga D-Line. Prince Henry Koforidia says it is regrettable that we lost those souls yesterday. The MTTD must nip drivers who are using unauthorized motor and car light. You'll be driving and meet a motor lights changing from one color to another, which is dangerous to other users. And the lights that a number of people are talking about, Joe, I've seen that. There are people who use lights so strong that they're stronger than the energy that comes from fluorescent lights and very huge. And I don't know who allowed other vehicles, they are, you call the SUV kind of in terms of size, and they have bulbs all over the place. So when they hit
I've
the road,
seen one with
you can't see
the
anything.
lights at the top.
Yes, why are they allowing these cars with these lights?
It's a function of the problem we are dealing with. So that's their remedy of trying to brighten up and be able to have better visibility, but it comes with its own attendant danger. I've also seen a smaller car that also had some of these lights virtually all around it.
Yes.
And you just couldn't see.
And when they are behind you, they reflect in your, is it rear mirror in the middle of your car?
The one in the middle,
and when they are coming from opposite, you can't see anything.
Yeah. There's a way of knocking it off. Those you have the mirror that has what looks like a button in the middle that can push. So that can help you deal with that. But some more messages here. You say, good morning, Akable and the team. I think it's high time we sue government and the local assemblies. Bogatanga is equally dark and no single traffic light in the capital. Very bad. Atanga from Boga, you send that one. He says, it always seems like big people, into bracket duty bearers, don't see death to be anything, or they don't care about the ordinary person. Even the one life loss is not something common we should play with. And it's all because we are refusing to see every human being like us. The good thing is that every soul shall taste death one way or the other. I agree with you totally. Lives are very valuable. Good morning, wonderful team of TV3. The absence of street lights along some roads is too much. Even when the existing ones went off, it would take some time before authorities think of fixing it. In Kumasi, the street light from Ahoneja to the airport roundabout had a lack of street lights since I was a kid. I don't know. My name is Mustafa Yamboni from Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. Niti Fafa from Tema, you say that for so many years there has not been any street light on the Tema Harbour Road, causing a lot of accidents on the road. Even at some places there are no lights at all. And good morning to you guys. The country has never thought of our leaders. They ride in big and good cars that even when the roads are bad, they don't realize it. And some leaders who are supposed to ensure that our road rules are obeyed don't even care about them. Then when there's an accident and lives are lost, we gather to speak good English, and that's all we do. What is street light that we can't provide? It's another question that you are also asking there. Komla Genya from Gulf City, you also sent this one as well. It is bad enough that most of our roads do not have functioning street lights. However, as Beatrice rightly pointed out, an even more disturbing issue is the theft of the street lights. Something must be done to prevent criminals from stealing these lights as well. That's what you sent. Some more messages here. Joseph and Beatrice, in this era of modernization too, there is no street lights in our various streets. This is very embarrassing. In Kumasi too, the street lights are not working either. May their souls rest in peace. Anita, watching live from Kumasi. Okay, this one is from Owari inside Wager. It's very long, but you basically say that when if you can remember growing up, these long trucks were only allowed to ply our roads in the night. What happened to a reversal of such initiative? Now they compete with all cars on these roads
we
each
talked
and every
about
day.
this yesterday. Yes.
Also with the street lighting issue, wouldn't it be ideal if all appointed MCs in the country donate at least 100 boxes towards this project as outlined in the laws of Ghana? Fix our street lights is what you also say there. Some messages have come on the phone. Let me read this one here. From our colleague Komla Kluche, Presidential Affairs Correspondent. He's also within that area. He uses this road that we are talking about. He says, I've heard very disgusting suggestions that the Achimota to Pokwase stretch has its lights functioning. Let no one gaslight the public with these barefaced lies and pure wickedness that there are functioning street lights on the stretch. How did we get there as a country? We have leaders who have bragging, fixing the lights, but reality is that what we see here today. I live in ACP. I use that road every day, and to be able to get home daily by God's grace, it cannot be the situation that the accident happened with the lights fully functioning. And you ask questions about the regional minister in Accra and mayor as well, and you say that there's not a single light working within the Ablekuma to Pokwase area, and you won't be surprised if another one occurs. In fact, there are accidents virtually every single day, and I made the point that I had stopped using the Pokwase or Fanko Achimota Road, but I used it today because I wanted to see whether the lights are functioning even post the accidents taking place. Almost every time I use it at dawn, there's always one incident or the other that causes a bit of a delay on the stretch. Still some other messages that we have here. Okay. From Alfred Kwabenya, you say that it's quite unfortunate what happened yesterday on the Pokwase-Achimota Highway. The carelessness on our roads is terrible. No respect for road signs, speed limits. Street lights are also not working, leaving roads not visible during the night. These Aboboyas are also doing their own thing. We all and government need to do our part from letting such incidents occur again. Condolences to all the families who lost their
the bit about no respect for street signs. Yesterday, one of our panel members talked about how especially commercial drivers feel that you don't need to go to a driving school to drive. And I remember having an experience just at the Akweje interchange here. And I was within the roundabout. If you went to a driving school, you know that in Ghana, when you are within the roundabout, you have priority. And so if you are a car coming not within the roundabout, you should allow me to go. And the driver came to him, my back, when the police officer asked him, he said, and yet driving school near this young car. And so the suggestion from this panel panelists was that there should be a system where everybody who is behind the steering wheel should show that the person has gone to driving school and passed and really is certified to be on our roads.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know where we can start from.
They're already doing it. It's just that people are going around it because years back you could apply and get a license from the Driver Vehicle Licensing Authority. Now the requirements is such that you have to show that you've gotten some training from a driving institution. So a lot of the people who obtain licenses these days, you apply through a driving school basically to enable you get the license.
Without necessarily going through the school.
Yes, but people still get around it anyways, and that's why we are where we are. But I mean, this is the very basic of it, and you see people basically telling us that it is the situation in different parts of the country, and it's the reason why we are calling on city authorities, from the assemblies to our members of parliament to we know that it's not their direct responsibilities, but they all have influential roles to play that they need to address this once and for all.
Indeed, but as we talk about this, let me remind you as always, pick up your day the Milky Way with the rich, smooth taste of peck milk shortcake. It is just pure delight, and you can get them in all grocery shops, close and far from you, for yourself and for your loved ones. And I'm reminding you again that we're giving you 5,000 Ghana cedis. Who doesn't want free money? Dial *439#. You pick option 8, MG jackpot, and you will stand the chance of winning 3,000 Ghana cedis or 2,000 Ghana cedis. And hopefully, if you play more, we started talking about this when we opened the show. There's a possibility that we could give either 2,000 or 3,000 Ghana cedis at the end of the big issue, which is going to be handled.
Thank you for staying with us here on New Day on TV3. It's time for a big issue. My guests are already seated around the table. Kamaldeen Abdullah is with the New Patriotic Party. It's good to have you back. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Also joining us in the studio is Ebo Bakman. Ebo Bakman is with the United Party, also with us in the studio. Abraham Amaliba is with the National Democratic Congress, Director General National Road Safety Authorities, also with us in
Kamaldeen
the
went
studio.
to do some babysitting. You know, the wife gave birth. So he had to go and do some babysitting.
Congratulations.
I'm sure he would update you off air. He's spoken to me off air.
About
he will update you off air. That's all I can say.
The wife.
Let's leave it at that for now. He will update you when we go off air. But we are with you. We are with you. That's all I can say.
That's okay.
For now. Abi, I mean, there's this story that has been all around the accident that took place on the Ofanko in Sawum. We know that mostly when there's such an accident, in fact, your men go to the ground to try and pick up information and get it up to you. Now, I mean, so far, what have you learned about what happened there?
So yesterday was a Black Thursday for we in the capital city. We lost 12 lives yesterday, 5 males, 7 females. 22 are injured and are in various hospitals. There's Achimota Hospital and there's also, let me check my records. There are 2 hospitals, Achimota and another one, As-Sofa Hospital. And the reports indicated that an Abuboya that had an earlier accident was the one that caused the whole mess because incoming vehicles had to crash into the Abuboya, and that led. So we have 2 tipper trucks, 2 sprinter buses carrying 2 passengers, 2 saloon cars, and a private vehicle and a tricycle. The tricycle is Abuboya. Clearly, the indiscipline is too much, but I also think that enforcement is what is lacking. There's no country that allows its rules to be used without enforcement. Currently, as we speak, we don't have our police MTTDs on our roads. In countries where you don't see police on our roads, you have cameras, that watch, and there's a back room that watch your activities. Why the police MTTD is not on the roads is what is mind-boggling. And I have written to them since I came. I wrote, I think, 2 letters saying that they should allow the police MTTD to come onto the roads. My understanding was, and I said this on air, is that during Paris time, they withdrew them because they said they were extorting and harassing drivers. But I said that on any day, I'll prefer the MTTD be on the roads, harassing drivers, while keeping our roads safe, than taking them off completely, and the roads will now become like Formula 1. Everybody just drives. And mind you, people do what you inspect. They don't do what you expect. And you know the culture of our drivers. And if you are an average traveler, you will notice that sometimes when they are meeting their colleagues and the police is stationed somewhere on the road, they will be pointing. Meaning that they are here. And what do you see? You see that slow down, they will remove their leg from the paddle. Probably that they are here, no? If it wasn't done, 2 minutes, they was going to get an accident. So I don't understand. And till this day, I don't understand why the police has done that.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think that they should come back. Very soon, we are going to roll out the traffic tech system because we've also acquired speed cameras and we are going to roll it out. But until then, now and then, in between time, people are dying. Let's deal with that.
I mean, but it's a stretch that I even used it this morning. There's also the question of visibility. I mean, most parts of the road virtually dark. We went back this morning. When I was coming in, it was around 4:50 towards 5:30. It was virtually dark most parts of the road, including the spots where the accidents occurred. And what I realized every time I'm coming to work is that more often than not, there will be one long vehicle that has parked by the roadside, or a vehicle that has broken down, or maybe a car that is involved in an accident that is also there. And mostly they don't have the triangles behind them. So if you are moving too fast, you will see them quite late. I mean, that is another part of the conversation that we ought to pay attention to.
I've instructed my senior director to write to the road sector agencies. I'm going to have a breakfast meeting with all of them. Urban roads, highways, feeder roads, DVLA, the Ministry of Transport. I'm calling for a meeting, a stakeholder strategic meeting. The lives that are being lost is unprecedented. It's unacceptable. I was in Leipzig in Germany. A vehicle knocked down just one person in the city center. Watch the TV stations. It was like Armageddon. Yeah, one person. But one person, one too many anyway. But in our case,
12.
We simply do not pay attention and give value to road crashes as compared to air crashes. I don't know because, I said it here, I don't know because that one comes from the height and fall down. But you know also that the number of people road crashes claim is more than the COVID that came. Road crashes kills more people than the number of people COVID kill in a day. Road crashes kills more. But look at how we marshal resources to deal with COVID. If we at National Road Safety got half of that, we will be able to solve some of these problems. So I think that we should give attention also to road crashes, just as I will give attention to other epidemics and then air crashes. The reason why I'm calling all the OJS agencies is that people have a misconception that road safety is for the street lights. We are not. We are a regulator. And I don't know how many times I'll say it. We are like a headmaster having a cane and saying that highways, why haven't you not done the road markings here? Urban roads, why haven't you not fixed? We are not an implementing agency. We are like PURC. PURC doesn't come to your house to fix lights for you. Do they do that?
Yeah, they want you to use the cane.
It's the ECG that does that. But PURC regulates ECG. So we are like a regulator. And this BOMSO, when I took over, I wrote to the highways, drawing their attention to the fact that the river has no barricades. The bridge has no barricades. They went and fixed it. You see the speed calming effects there. It was through my effort, and so they had to, because people, the drivers speed. So what we can do, our role is two: education, and then two,
enforcement,
regulating the agencies.
Okay.
But let me say, we are not an implementing agency. We are not the ones who mark the roads. We are not the ones who fix the street lights. We are not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ebo, any thoughts on this unfortunate incident yesterday?
You see, the problem is this is Accra Kumasi Road, right?
No, this is
it's Ofanko. It cuts across the whole.
There was an earlier one there. Then yesterday there was also Ofanko.
Yeah.
You see, if you are prepared to spend money to construct roads, you should be prepared to spend money to provide lights. Street lights should be part of road construction. And what I've realized is that most of the street lights we bring in, they don't last 3 months. You see them beautifully, arranged.
Yeah.
Within 3 months, they are gone, and nobody cares about putting them back. So, let's pay attention to our roots, because that is the only way we move. Most of us. That's the only way we have. We've not done much in respect of our railways, system. We have the sea there. We are not using it to travel from Accra to Takrady and other places. We are not using the water bodies, and we are using the roads. So if our attention is on the roads, we should make sure that at least street lights, markings, and the police too. I agree with AB that the police should be on the road, and they should be on the road not to harass drivers, but also to ensure that the drivers drive in accordance with speed limits and the road regulations. So it was sad yesterday. Yesterday, at a point, I couldn't watch it again because I realized my morning was being, more or less destroyed by the bad news. So I just put off the television and did something else. So I think our leaders must look at the issue of lighting system. Even in Accra here, the capital city, if you go to some of the places, very dark.
Everywhere is dark.
Yeah.
Everywhere is dark.
So I think we should, and the contractors who also bring those lights. If you bring lights and the light is going to last for 3 months, and sometimes they even triple or quadruple the prices they buy from China. If you go to China, let me tell you, if you go to China, if I've ever done business in China, I've done business in China before, they will tell you,
yes,
where are you taking them to? Yeah. The first question is, this one you buying, where are you taking them to? If you say Africa, Africa, this one gooder, this one gooder, which means grade C. If it's going to America, this one gooder, because the grade A is more expensive than grade C. So our people, they go and buy the grade C. Because if you go to China, China, the lighting system in China is more than any country. And their lights will be on for years. It means those lights, we can bring them to Ghana as well. But the contractors, because they want to make supernormal profit, they go and buy the grade C, bring them here, 3 months is gone. And I don't know the kind of contract we enter with them. Because if within certain period the light goes off, you should be able to replace it as a contractor. And so we should do things properly. It's quite unfortunate. Our condolences to the family who have lost their beloved ones.
I think it's a sad morning, and let me say good morning once again to you, and good morning to Lawyer Malba. You see, Lawyer Malba should just go straight to the point. There's no sense in establishing a commission or authority, we call it, in this case called road safety, and we do not seek to fund it. There's no sense. I think it's about time there's a law, I stand to be corrected, that would at least put some token of a tax to every single Ghanaian to contribute towards the running of this particular institution. It is about time we did that. Not too long ago, there was this proposal of, trying to put a levy on DVLA roadworthy, issuance to take care of trucks that are spoiled on the road or broken down, so that at least they could be conveyed in real time to save situations. There was an uproar. We all rose up against it. I think the proposal emanated from, Zoom Lion or something.
No, they had a company that was Road Safety Management Services Limited. But that law is still there. It's not been scrapped.
Yeah,
it's still there.
And see, we actually poo-pooed it. As a people, we fought against it. I've always maintained, if you want safety, if you want to take our public health seriously, or issues of public health seriously, it's about time we spent. Lawyer Malba sits here. Go to his regional offices. Pathetic. They can't run, they can't work. Meanwhile, we have these aboboyas all over. Some people, they call them prages.
And they cannot mess the cost because they are not regulated. It's actually sickening. We're told this accident that happened was as a result of an abubuya that had an accident, broken down, and then blocked the road in a way. We're told again that some darkness also had caused that. Because it got broken down, it was parked there, nobody lifted it. The road also was foggy, people could not see, or hazy, they couldn't see. Driving on that road was a challenge. Eventually, look at what it cost us. 12 good lives. Who knows what they would have contributed to Mother Ghana? 22 of them in the hospital as we speak. Various conditions. We are sitting here, and all we want to do is to gloss over. Lawyer Malba says he's going to have a breakfast meeting with, as a CEO, have a breakfast meeting with some, stakeholders. Let me remind him to include the MMDCs within the jurisdiction that he's going to have the meeting, because they are clothed by the law to also come up with bylaws to regulate some of these aboboyas and other things within their vicinities. They should be part of his meetings.
Okay.
They also have DISEC and RedSec and whatever that they control. MTD falls under them. They should be part of that meeting. Look, it's about time we look at it critically. And do not just come to sit on TV, speak English, get up, go home, get our cocoa or banku and okro, and we've forgotten about what we spoke about. And institutions are dying.
Okay.
As we speak, because he cannot say it, but let me tell you the truth, his office is struggling. He cannot operate.
No, I mean, I think he made a point about resources.
It's a fact.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, I know what some of his regional officers. Some of his regional officers are my friends, my very good friends.
Okay.
They are struggling. So please, our call is to the finance Minister of Finance. He didn't even include them. They should see whatever they have to do to resource such an office, and whatever promises that they have made. That look, we're going to regulate Okadas. How far have we gone with this Okada promise with NDC? How far have we gone with this promise of regulating Abubuyas?
Okay.
What are we going to look at? So for me, I think that, look, it's about time. This is not politics. Let's all come on board, see if this institution is working well, and education is going on, sensitization is going on, lives actually are going to be saved.
Okay.
Just as we did for infant mortality. Today, infant mortality rate in Ghana has dropped to somewhere 25 to 28% out of 1,000 births. Okay? And rather, road safety crashes is rising. Like he rightly said. Okay. People die more than even when the COVID struck.
All right.
So I think that it's about time we look at it critically. But the LI has been approved by Parliament, which LI now says that every road use, every owner of a vehicle must subscribe to an insurance company or a towing company. So next year, that will roll out. So that in real time, when your car breaks down, like we have in other parts of the world, you just call your insurance company and they come and remove it so that it won't keep long there. Because broken down vehicles also are a source of some of these accidents.
Yes.
Then also the Okada, the law, the LI, which has been approved by Parliament just like before they rose, also talks about how we are going to regulate them. So from now till the end of the month, the year, we are going to go around the country in the 16 regions to sensitize the people before rollout takes place next year. So by next year, I am just concerned about now and in between time.
I think in between time, the lighting is very important.
Yes.
So I think the lighting
where
is
my concern is.
That's fine. I mean,
they should stop giving the light to the MPs.
Yeah, I mean, the lighting is very, very
They should stop giving the light to the MPs and put the lights on our streets.
Okay. So that is it by way of our thoughts on that unfortunate incident. Our condolences once again to the families of the bereaved. We also wish those in the hospitals a speedy recovery as well. We pray that we don't lose any of them. I mean,
I was affected directly. I have one hospitalized as a result of that accident.
Yeah, I just got a message from somebody.
Yes.
My cousin is among the dead.
A very good friend of mine, a lady, she's actually hospitalized.
My cousin
was part of the...
I've said it countless times. I use that route every single day, and for some time now I've avoided using it, but I used it this morning because I wanted to see the lighting situation. I stopped using it because almost every morning there's an incident on the road, either a broken down vehicle that causes traffic or there's an accident on that road all the time. So it's something that we have to deal with. Let's see how all of that plays out in the coming days. But let's talk about scholarships now. And there's this conversation that has been on, started by Ghana's High Commissioner to the UK, Sabazita Benson, alleging serious mismanagement of scholarship funds under the previous administration. In fact, she made various Facebook posts. She followed up with interviews where she's even cited an instance where about 90,000 cedis was spent on visa fees, and how beneficiaries of scholarships have their spouses and children also being provided for and being allowed to accommodate them. If you followed the conversations around scholarships, you know that it's not new. In fact, last year when the new administration took over, the same issues came up strongly. And in a space of a couple of months, Parliament passed a new scholarship bill, a new scholarship law that was passed as well. And the point was made at the time by the legislators that it was to deal with some of these concerns that had come up strongly about how scholarships are awarded in this country. And so that law was passed in Parliament last year to deal with it. I'll share bits of that with you shortly. That is the Ghana Scholarship Act 2025, Act 1149. And that law was passed by Parliament to establish the Ghana Scholarships Authority to regulate the administration and award of government's scholarships in a transparent and equitable manner and for related matters. And if you read the law, it deals with issues of how it should be awarded, it should be fair, brilliant but needy students, and all of those issues that we had all talked about over and over again. So why this conversation at this point in time? I want us to first listen to the High Commissioner to the UK speak about some of the disturbing findings that has been discovered so far and what is being done about that.
It is a whole lot of people. She was just an example that I used. It is not just somebody. I have about 3 files or maybe 4 of such people who were brought in, whole families. So one person, it could be the husband or the wife, gets a scholarship to come and study, and they are studying things like MBA policy that we are teaching in our universities. So she gets a man or wife gets an award to come and study MBA or policy, and then the tuition is free, government is paying for it, stipends is free, and then the person, the awardee, comes along with the whole family. Some of these families were as many as 4 children plus spouse, 5 children plus spouse, 3 children plus spouse. What I can tell you for a fact, my eyes have seen the documents and the payments. I know the travel agents that was collecting these payments to buy tickets for them. It's just I don't want to put their name out there. But they know, listening to me, that travel consult, they know that what I'm saying is true. We paid for whole families, for whole families to move in with their parents and their spouses to come and study master's degree. I mean, it's insane. It's insane.
Well, the commission has also been talking about what she intends to do about this, because the question is that, I mean, you've discovered this. What are you doing about it specifically?
Government should refund. They didn't come and study. They didn't get any scholarships. Government should make them refund everything, including visa fees. And whoever did it should be charged for causing financial loss to the state. Because is the reason why I am saddled with a debt here of about 35 million pounds that we can't pay. These this huge amounts that we were using to pay air tickets. Look, even yellow fever card was part of what that travel consult was charging. So they were charging for their premium visa. They were not using ordinary visa. And I can tell you for a fact that the UK embassy, they charge £500 for premium visas. So you get the visas in 5 days. So we were paying for premium visas for these awardees and their families. We were paying for air tickets for all of them. And then we were paying for yellow fever card vaccination. And then we were paying £8,160 each to every family member that accompanied the awardee for coming to study one course that can be studied in Ghana.
The High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, there, Zita Benson, Saba speaking on the scholarship situation there, and note the country owes, the mission owes £35 million. In fact, she told us that they've been able to pay just about £3 million so far. So they are still in a lot of debt. And interestingly, scholarships were awarded in January of 2025 for students to also go in. And so once this was they were awarded prior to the new administration taking over. And so the students went in January 2025, and that also presented a new obligation on the government at the time as well. She mentioned the former head of the Scholarship Secretariat, who is now a member of parliament, and his lawyers actually issued a statement to speak on this matter. I want to share a bit of that statement with you, and it's from Sarkodie, Bafwewa and Partners. And you hear the lawyers here say that our client has not only availed himself to the said state security agencies, but has fully cooperated with them with a view to ensuring that allegations are thoroughly investigated. His name is completely cleared and the matter is brought to a definitive conclusion. They add that he's a law-abiding citizen. Who remains focused on faithfully discharging the mandate entrusted to him by the good people of Ibuakwa South, and is firmly committed to the rule of law and due process. He remains confident that in the fullness of time, the truth will prevail and he will be vindicated as well. And so the context is that he had been mentioned as obviously being responsible for the Scholarship Secretariat and how he had managed it. And his lawyers are basically saying that, well, this is not the first time the High Commissioner is making those allegations, but he is currently been appearing before various investigative agencies, and they believe that the matter should be left to the investigative bodies to investigate the matter. Maybe let me start with Kamal Dean on this matter. And Kamal, I mean, there's a frank conversation that we all have to have about how scholarships have been awarded by the political parties, but some of the things that we are learning under the previous administration, your government, is quite disturbing, to say the very least. I mean, you would agree with that?
Thank you very much. I think if there's a problem and if there's an issue that we need to deal with as a country, let's deal with that matter as a country and stop this cheap partisan politics. What the High Commissioner is doing is nothing but cheap partisan politics. If there's an issue, there's an issue. Who says under NDC one cannot cite some of these matters? Who says under MPP we cannot cite some of these issues? I think it's about time we call a spade a spade. If we have a law in place, and in this case you attribute it to Act 1149, okay? And when you look at the Section 3 of that act, the objective of the Secretariat is clear. Question is, how well has even the Secretariat dealt with the National Development Planning Commission to agree to some gaps that we have in our human resource base as a country that warrants a scholarship to be given to some people to go and study and come and help? Section 3 is clear on it. Whether the Secretariat has been dealing with National Development Planning Commission, we don't know. Question is, science, engineering, and mathematics, which is supposed to be given prominence in the award of scholarships, or in the awarding of scholarships. How well is the Secretariat using that to work? These are mundane, better issues that we need to talk about. But when you start to say that it's the MPP government, and then in this government, what is happening in this government too?
I mean, but the mission is saddled with,
and I am saying,
£35 million debt. If you get into an office and
there has always been debt.
You were in the consulate.
My good brother.
If you get into an office and you are told that there's a £35 million silly debt, and you probe it and you realize that people are coming for MBA programs with their wife and children, 4 children.
I think interestingly, that these are, I will only work with what she's saying as a hearsay. Until the veracity of same. That's why the lawyers of the ex-CEO have actually had cause to write. We are not running a banana republic. We are running a country of laws, where, of course, you cannot impugn wrongdoing when investigation has not been established by, if you like, the authorities that are supposed to do that. More so, where she sits, she has more information than myself. And I expect her as a diplomat to speak as a diplomat. I wouldn't this morning like to waste my time on her. Well, basically, she's not the matter. The matter is how well can we put together this scholarship thing, irrespective of any government or party in power, so that it will benefit those it's supposed to benefit. In 1960, when the act was the scholarship secretary was established, the idea was, first of all, to ensure that we create the gaps that we have in terms of manpower is filled. To ensure that funding was given to needy but brilliant students. Clear. And to also ensure that domestically we assist even people to have education who have no access. Main three cardinal core issues, reasons why it was established. Fast forward to where we are today. Are we going by those principles?
I mean, you have been around for a while. You know that your colleagues took scholarships. There are some
not just only my colleagues, even the current Deputy Attorney General, Siram Sai, is a beneficiary of scholarship.
I mean,
I'm not saying not just only my colleagues. I'm saying that even people who could pay are beneficiaries. Siram Sai is one. He's a beneficiary of scholarship, not here alone.
I mean, but
when you go into the government, go to parliament, go to whatever, we share them, and it is wrong.
Okay.
So I'm saying that not just only people I know, but we should actually let it work the way it's supposed to work. But to come and sit down and want to play holier than thou, as if your area, nothing like that is happening. When people who have even benefited are those who are calling to prosecute others. Did they also deserve it? We should ask questions. Is it greed? You have money to pay, but yet you won't pay, and you want somebody to come and take care of you? I have had the opportunity of being called to come for a scholarship. I said, no, I don't want it. I'm not a rich person.
Is that how they do this?
I don't have it. I am saying that some time ago. Listen to me. Listen to me. I have had that
but that's
opportunity.
the point. But that's the point that we are raising.
It's wrong.
Yeah, and to the extent that we are discussing how scholarship is managed under your administration.
It's still managed. That is what is still happening. I mean, on Facebook, just the day before yesterday, I saw someone thanking a government appointee for facilitating scholarship for 2 people for him. On Facebook, this current government. I saw someone writing to thank a government appointee for facilitating scholarship for him. Is that a criteria? Just yesterday, I read on Facebook. For some reason, I don't want to mention the person's name. You understand? But the question is, that is what is happening. What is the criteria? How do we select these people? What do we go about government scholarships? Yet, it is convenient for you to come and sit there and say it's MPP. No, but it's not convenient for you to say what is happening that yesterday when somebody wrote that, 2 people have had scholarship because I sent their names to him and then they did it for me. Really? Is that the way they share it? Is that the way they share it? They get fan scholarship. Is that the way they share it? We know what is happening. Let's not sit here and want to come and hide our faces and then try to say we are opening cover or we are blowing the cover of someone. Yesterday, if it was wrong, today is equally wrong. And I think that, look, matters that are under investigation, rightly when the lawyers put it. Of course, if you have issues, write to the right report. Your ministry is there. If you think that you have come to meet debt, and the Foreign Affairs Ministry, I have worked also with the Foreign Affairs. What does it matter? You send a circular. You send a report. Okay? The report is going to get to your office. The office will deal with it. If they need for Attorney General to come in for investigation, they will forward it. You don't come sit down and jump the gun, try to try people in the public court. No,
maybe a bit of context. The issue is that there are students in the United Kingdom that are making demands for.
It has only been so, my brother.
Yeah, so once they are making those demands, and in explaining what is accounting for some of the delays, she explained that there's a bit of auditing that is even taking place currently because of how things have been managed, and they are saddled with $35 million in pounds in debt.
It's because we have no time. I can take you from 1960 to date, and just let's read the recent times. Under the NDC, when the MPP came, they came to meet them at the High Commission.
So I'm coming. Your
not
point,
only the High Commission, your point is Ukraine and other places.
Come on, your point is that you agree that we've not managed scholarship.
For me, I agree completely.
But you have a problem with her speaking about it.
I just gave you an example that if someone like Sirem Sai, who we all know benefited from scholarship,
I think we should hold on that point.
Oh no, why we hold on? He's not a beneficiary.
No, because we don't know. I don't have the facts surrounding how that scholarship was awarded. That is one.
Fact is that we're talking about awarding scholarship, government scholarship, and we are talking about people who are supposed to benefit.
Someone called you to come for a scholarship, and you've just said here that even though you couldn't afford, you said
I don't need it because I can do what I can pay for what I'm doing.
The point is that you agree that the scholarship has not been managed properly.
Absolutely.
But your problem this morning is that the woman is talking about it.
Oh, no, that's not my problem. My problem is not the way she carries it. See, when you are given a position of, if you like, authority, and there are channels of report, there are channels of coming out with this. Yes, you can come out to say XYZ has not been so. But to the extent that you just go, descend on a particular person, when in fact, the integrity, the fundamental human rights of the person, you are a lawyer, is at stake. You don't put the person on the banner when in fact the investigation is not done.
Okay.
So I'm saying that you resort to the proper channels of reporting. Then when it comes up at the end of the day, for us to all discuss, we will discuss it.
I mean, she said she
like I said, she's not the first high commissioner. Other high commissioners are there, but there has been debt accrued as a result of what? Scholarship that they granted. Did we hear some of these talks? So at least she's a diplomat. She should be diplomatic about the way she does things. But of course, that said, the scholarship secretariat need to be looked at properly. Let's see how it's been done. We don't wait until someone sends 2 names to somebody and a government appointee, and then they say, oh, I am happy they have given this, granted me this. Then the other person says they have taken this. Who knows? What's the criteria? So I think it's something we need to look at. That's why the reason why the law was actually enacted. And I believe the law has spelled out the processes, and the processes must be adhered to strictly.
Abi, this morning when I shared the flyer about the topics, a friend sent something to me. He says that he blames your government. And this was his reason. He says, you took office in January 2025. Everyone knows how scholarships are managed. You are not prosecuting anyone. So today when you are talking about what is happening at Scholarship Secretariat, Kamal is not happy.
Oh no.
He agrees that no, I'm coming. You agree that there's a problem, but you have concerns about how it's being communicated. And the point that he makes the reference that investigations are
to narrow the blame to only MPP government is what I have a problem with.
Well, that's
but
fine.
I'm saying,
but the point
that
people are, some messages that came in were making is that you've been in power since January. I mean, if some people were being prosecuted, some of these conversations, we should not be having them at this point in time.
This is a high-profile corruption and financial scandal. And Kamaldeen's attempt to muddy the waters and the attempt to engage in convoluted arguments to cover up for his government cannot be allowed to go without any comment. Look, we are talking about, and let me segregate the matters. We are not talking about awarding of contracts and a scholarship. We are talking about the abuse of it, the corruption related to it. So Siripsa has been given a scholarship. We are not talking about that. We are talking about did they award him a scholarship, gave some to his mother, gave some to his mother's brother, gave some to his child's sister brother. That's the abuse. Are you getting my? So let's be. I don't want this kind of muddying the waters. You know, the scholarship they've sent him, has he not come back to serve the country? So it's not about that. It's about the abuse, where he himself, sitting here, has made it abundantly clear how the abuse took place. So now scholarship under them, you'll be sitting here somewhere. Come for a scholarship. It buttresses the point. It buttresses the point. The point of abuse. And are there granos? Even granos, do you call people to come for them? God.
And that's what they do. That's what they do.
No, stop that.
That's what they
Look, you say that NDC the same. Site in NDC where you have this abuse. Who else did in NDC? Whom did they call like they call you? Come and go and
don't dare me this morning.
Oh, so don't. The point is that we have this, and you see, to be honest with these matters, when the man, the MP, what's his name,
Kingsley
Ajima, was in office under the MPP, some of these matters came up. Whilst he was in office, I don't know where you are aware.
Yes.
Because I communicated with him because he had threatened, what is this guy's name? Koku Buahi. Because Koku Buahi went and sat somewhere in one of the account speaking stations and mentioned that he's using it for his campaigns and those things. So he threatened me with a letter. Koku Buahi came to me as a lawyer. So I've dealt with him about it. So what I'm saying is that this matters about mismanagement of the institution came up even when the MPP was in power. So it's not about NDC now coming and you are citing the ambassador as having done anything wrong. But I am glad that, I didn't even know, but I'm glad that investigations are ongoing in this matter. To say that why are we not prosecution? You don't just prosecute because you are a lawyer. So these investigations, maybe you could say, should be sped up. You must speed them up to ensure that we get to the bottom of the matter. But the abuse, sometimes you ask yourself, when you are in public office, the way you are treating the office, would you have treated the office like that if it was your personal property? I sitting here, knowing the predicament of my office, I have declined 1 or 2 trips outside. Because I look at it, then I ask, do the mathematics for me. Then I look at the amount, then I look at my account. Already empty account. So that is what a public officer should be doing.
The suffering I mentioned earlier.
You know, I'm not, forget about the suffering. I'm just telling you, as a public officer, and I can cite it. I can cite it where I refused to go. That was in Singapore when there was this international conference on IAA. I looked at it. I said no. So I had to make a junior officer to go because his allowances will not get to my allowance. And I gave the opportunity out. Abraham Albert sitting here. It has not reduced me. Fortunately for me, I know Singapore before. Because when I was in GMPC as board member under Mahama one, I went to Singapore. So I said, but I know this place. How many people, how many public officers think the way I have taught to save the institution money? So when you are put in a place, and that's why I don't like sometimes, in fact, talking about the governments. Let's deal with the individual. Because when your appointment letter comes, they don't put at the last end, and then you can engage in corrupt practices. They don't put that. So you have not been appointed to go there to engage in that. So why is prosecution not taking place? Once there are investigations, it means prosecution will come when there's the need for it. And so I think let's look at it from that angle. It's the abuse. It's not about the... because the scholarship secretariat is supposed to be giving scholarship. But the abuse of it is what Ghanaians are appalled about. So how do we deal with the corrupt people who are put in there is the concern of Ghanaians.
And I mean, there's a point AB makes about if it was a
because
private,
when they call him that way, you come for scholarship like this. Do they? Because you must have a school that has given you, you know.
No, I mean, once they call you, it means that when you get the admission, they'll give you. That's what it means, basically.
So they've called him for it. Once he has not applied
so
for
you now apply.
So you now apply.
When you get it,
no.
I mean, I have.
No, you don't.
No.
My circumstance is not clearly explained to you. So you don't know.
That's right. I'll come back to you. I'll come to you. I have had my own experiences trying to get a scholarship 2 or 3 times. I didn't get it. I mean, I didn't get it.
You must get your admission first.
I got the admission twice.
But in his case,
they didn't mind me.
He doesn't have admission. Then they call him, come and take a scholarship.
They didn't mind me.
And I'm sure by now you have gone with his wife, his children, his what and what.
I got admission twice. They didn't mind me. But I mean, there's a point AB makes about the private sector, and I think it's very accurate to the extent that if you are a private company and you decide to award a scholarship to a staff member, and the staff member comes to you and tells you that I'm married, so I want to go with my wife and my 4 children. I don't think any private company will say that, okay, I'll pay for all of you to go over there. I'll give all of you stipends just so you go and do an 8-month course in an MBA in the United Kingdom or the USA or whichever country you have to go to. How are we exercising discretion in the public sector in that manner?
Good morning to you, your good self, my colleagues and our viewers. You see, Kamal Dean has really done well for his party this morning. I mean, trying to, somersault just to defend the indefensible. You see, when we were talking about the road safety, it didn't go back to MPP's era. You spoke about your time, NDC time. But when we got to scholarship, then quickly you went.
I'm not sure you were listening to me.
Yeah, I listened to you.
So when you say I didn't go back to MPP, you are lying. Because I mentioned that.
I think you should allow him. I'll give you a reaction time. I'll give you a reaction time.
You didn't talk about the challenges then. You didn't talk about the challenges then. The same challenges he's facing were there before he came. But the point I'm making is that, you see, I think we should take the issue of accountability seriously in this particular issue. I am seriously disturbed. The kind of information we get from that particular office is quite disturbing. Because, I mean, we are talking about taxpayers' money. We're not talking about political parties' fund to sponsor its members. Ghanaian taxpayers' money being used to sponsor Ghanaians. And that is the issue. And so that young man who is now MP, it has become a strategy now. Go to an office, make money, go and knock off people, become MP, maybe probably you get some parliamentary immunity. It's become a strategy. Look at the issues we are facing as a nation, and look at where we are investigating. If it is not sports ministry in relation to 13 African Games, it is NLA. If it's not NLA, it is Scholarship Secretariat, and all these guys are in Parliament. So you can think about the kind of MPs we are having in this country recently, and it's quite worrying. So don't be surprised if they're able to sneak people into Parliament to act as parliamentarians, because the kind of people we are getting in our Parliament and the kind of cases, allegedly issues that they are involved, I mean, quite worrying. You see, you shouldn't allow politicians alone to determine the future of this country. Because scholarship should not be seen as a favor from a politician. It should be seen as a national investment in relation to our development strategy. Why do we give scholarship? Is this as a social intervention? Are we giving them, are they intended as social intervention for people who cannot afford education? Or do we give them as a reward for academic excellence, people who do well in school, so we want them to further education? Or as a broader strategic, move as a nation in relation to our development agenda? What do we want to achieve in the next 10 years? How do we train people today so that they can fit into that strategic agenda to be able to develop our country? When Chinese people wanted to make cars, they went to America. How did they go? They sent engineering students. Go and study how we can make competitive cars. Japanese, all of them, that's how they did it. Scholarship for MBA. Nonsense. No, completely nonsense. And if you're going for the MBA, you don't even go alone.
There are people who even go and do BA communication.
I mean,
BA communication.
So how are we using our scholarship? So we can agree. We've wasted money. Some of the MPs, 3 months, Harvard.
And still wasting. And still wasting. Because parents are still doing it.
I'm saying, listen to me. You've not provided any hardcore evidence. You've just made allegations. I dare you. You said AB should dare you. No, I dare you. Provide biscuits. No, you see, that's what we need to do. If you have evidence, don't wait to be dead. Do that. No, say it.
No, the secretary.
We are building a nation. I'm saying that we are building a nation. If you know someone has done something untoward, mention the person's name. I haven't tried to mention NLA. So Mustafa Yusuf is being investigated. MP. Kingsley Ajiman being investigated. MP. Samia Oku being investigated. MP. So the point I'm making is that if we are discussing the issues of this nature as much as possible, let's speak as Ghanaians. For once, let's remove the political jacket and speak as Ghanaians, because we're talking about taxpayers' money. For me, the whole scholarship scheme says the system is wrong, completely wrong. It shouldn't be left to human discretion. That King's Lajman now becomes a powerful human being in this country because he's been appointed as boss at scholarship. So if you go, he can decide that you go, you don't go, you belong to a political party, go. It's completely nonsense. Is it not academic thing? Why don't we allow the universities, tech, you want to sponsor your best science students, your engineers, because we want to develop this country on the back of this. Therefore, give us top students so that we can bond them. Even when the universities have provided their best students or those that they think can help with our national development agenda, then we can even interview them to know the quality we are sending out there. We bond them, they go and study, they come back, then work. That is how it's supposed to be. But the kind of this scholarship we are giving to people, as Kama said, he was there, they called him, Kama, you are ripe for scholarship. Why don't you come for scholarship?
How did they...
So that gentleman, that Kingsley Ajiman, that gentleman, Mr. President, the last time forensic audit was instituted at Sports Ministry in respect of the 13 African Games, the report came out, we've never heard anything. If people have started plea bargaining, let us know. If not, let's begin to see the prosecutions. The same way we heard about NLA, issues at NLA. The same way, Kingsley Ajiman, Mr. President, these are MPs, members of parliament. Let's remove whatever immunity they have and deal with them as ordinary Ghanaians in this matter. So, my concern, the way forward, I have suggested that we should scrap this issue of making one man the boss. Let's have a committee of experts. Okay? Let the university provide the names, the students. Then, let's vet them, let them send them out there to go and study. If it is engineering, technology, if it is this that we want to achieve in the next 10 years, let's send students specifically. Take good care of them. Bond them. Let them come and serve this country. Do you know that most of these people who get scholarship don't come back to Ghana?
In fact, the High Commissioner made reference.
They don't come back to Ghana. So it's like your mother, your mother, you pay tax. Your parents pay tax, but they didn't give you. They didn't give you, but they've given to people.
I'm brilliant and needy too.
Can you imagine?
I didn't mind me at all.
So I think it should be. We should clearly define. We should clearly define and distinguish between.
I'm brilliant and needy. Why Shadrach?
Between a needs-based scholarship, merit-based scholarship, and strategic national scholarship. Are you getting it? There should be clear definition. And I'm saying it should never be left to the politician to decide. If the politician sits there, I'm telling you, the politician will give only members of the party, maybe give one or two just to, point to, like the way he's pointing to Slam Sai, that Deputy Attorney General. No, he's been consistent. Deputy Napo went to Harvard for 3 months. The money that was spent on him could have sponsored about 4 candidates, 4 MBA students in Ghana, just for 3 months. Napo. That he's supposed to be giving scholarship. You see, we've done things haphazardly in this country. And it's about time we changed the way we do things. That is why I'm calling on this government. Mr. President, it is not just about investigating, prosecuting. The way forward is that allow the universities to give us the students based on merits. We want engineers.
I think we need to decide the direction first.
Yes, the plan. That's what I'm saying. In the next 10 years, 20 years, what is it that you want to achieve? Other countries did that. Do you think China will give somebody scholarship to go and study MBA in America? They will not do that. So we shouldn't do some of these things. And let's deal with people. If indeed what we are hearing is true, and there's this malfeasance and mismanagement at that place, Then let's head to rule, Mr. President. Let's see people behind bars or let them begin to cough the money they've stolen. Some of them allegedly have property. Some of them, in fact, some of them, if you come to Westlands, they have properties there, a lot of them. You see, and if you compare their salaries and the kind of properties allegedly they have there, I'm talking about King Sturgeon, it's quite worrying.
But why would a minister, because my understanding is that even some ministers were given scholarships. Why would a minister be given a scholarship when you, who is poor and needy, when you applied,
you don't get.
You didn't get. But in your case, you were poor, needy, but not lucky. So that's why you didn't get. So the point is that we need to restructure. But I'm told that there's now a new, because it is now an authority, and now it's the universities that select those who are needy and then bring them to the scholarship secretariat.
Oh,
if you can go to the university and then influence the people, they're fine. But there's also a committee.
Oh, fantastic.
That sits on it. And I'm told, I won't like to mention the name because then people will go and be trying to influence them. But there are prominent people who sit on your case before you go, they send you to the scholarship secretariat for approval. So things are beginning to change.
In fact, under the new law, if you refuse to return to the country after completing of the program under Section 31, you will be required to pay to the authority a refund of the total amount of scholarship awarded to the person and interest on the total amount of scholarship at the prevailing Bank of Ghana rate. Where a person fails to pay the penalty specified under subsection 2, the authority shall recover the total amount of the scholarship and the applicable interest as a civil debt at a rate of twice the total amount of the scholarship and the interest on the total amount. So those of you are happy your party's in power, you are running around getting the scholarship.
I don't know why we are hinging even this conversation only on the foreign scholarships. When you read the law, the law talks about the local or domestic scholarship strongly. That is where the idea of the needy but brilliant students, the poor ones, comes in. Because, like I mentioned, the three cardinal principles that this secretariat is hinged on, one of them has to do with access to education by people who do not have at all. How well are we doing it domestically? But you see, we are concerned about who is going to Norway, who is going to this, who is going to that. Amalba just sat here and said that at least I went to Singapore before, so someone should also go to Singapore. I've had the opportunity of knowing there. You understand? It was a decision, a discretion that he used. So I think that we should not just try to say that the resources that which is hard-earned resources anyway, we are rather spending so much money for people to go and do MBAs and needless courses, when domestically we have people who do not even have access to education and access to schools. So I think, yes, the secretariat should be looked at properly and see, okay, even if the foreign, whatever, we can issue a moratorium on it and rather concentrate the little resources that we have on the domestic development of the manpower that we need in this country. Otherwise, we are in trouble, as it were.
Well,
you see, our problem, Ghana as a country, our problem is that we don't have a clear path we are taking in respect of our national development. I mean, let's have clear path. If it is a 10 years, 20 years development plan, then let's have it so that some of these things can be, can be linked to our development agenda. Other than that, you train people for cricket when they are supposed to play football. and it's going to be a problem.
See, I can believe one other point is that, look, privatization has come to help us even. Most of these companies that we have today in this country are privatized. Most factories we have in this country are private. Okay? Some of them within in-house arrangement, they kind of make room to sponsor people who would have to go and then study and come to ameliorate whatever they are doing. And I think that, look, those days in the 60s and all that, we didn't have much private companies like this. Now, if we do have, I think it's needless for government to be spending money for people to go out there and study humanities only to come back to this country and do nothing.
And there are a lot of
they come back as unemployed.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of private schools even in this country that are awarding very competitive, very fair scholarships. Every single time, I'm sure we've all seen it on social media, you see someone post results of fantastic grades, and I've seen people say that, oh, apply to Ashesi, and I've seen 2 people so far. They've gone to Ashesi. One of them works with one of the big auditing firms in the country, just within a space of 5-6 years. When it was put out, the person got a scholarship at Ashesi, went and came back, and so all those are things that.
And even under the new arrangements, if you are going to offer a course outside, which can be done here, they won't give you scholarship.
No, that's even what the law says.
Yeah, so
that's not even what the law says.
So the people who go out to offer courses that can be done here should actually not be given scholarships. So
it's clear in the law, even.
How come that in some cases we have courses that can be done here, but people are given scholarships to go out there, and so it's important that the investigations take place.
So my last point on this. We've always said it here. In Ghana, beautiful laws, beautiful policies, implementation problem, enforcement problems. So, I mean, this is very fantastic. I had not read it, but I think what AB said were in sync with the things that I said. Yes. And I think we should implement these things and enforce the laws to ensure that we get the needed human capital for our national development.
Okay. Is there an award for scholarship for a program including skills upgrading that is not run in the country? Okay. The law is so clear.
All right. A lot of you have sent your messages. Some of you have made reference to the AB's groundnut comment and all of that. that was just by the way. But let's talk about the New Patriotic Party and wrap up. The NPP has set October 3 for the national executive elections. Picking of nomination forms begins on August 17. The party announced that so it's the reorganization that is taking place. Announced the nomination fee 50,000 cedis for national chairman. If you want to be vice chairman, 30,000 cedis. General secretary, 25,000 cedis. Kamal, are you contesting for any position?
No, at all.
You are not.
I'm not. Yeah.
Yes. Briefly, let's discuss your party and the reorganization. And the reorganization that is taking place. I mean, what type of leadership would you say the NPP needs at this point in time?
Well, I've always maintained that parties under our multi-party democracy are supposed to ensure that they put themselves together, for public elections properly. And not just putting themselves together for public election alone, but to win, as it were. Now, of course, I won't sit here to churn out or to say all the strategies that we have as a party. But importantly, from the grassroots to the national level, we need executives who are committed to assisting or to helping the flag bearer, in this case, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. Wherever he is this morning, I want to say Jumma Mubarak to him. You see, for the first time, we as a party have shifted from the old tradition of electing the base until we get to the flag bearer. Okay, we have a novelty introduced, which is getting the flag bearer and then getting back to reorganize to assist the flag bearer in prosecuting his campaign. As we said, polling station has been done. Fairly out of 100%, I should say that we had about 98%. Okay, it's been done. We had the electoral area coordinators. Initially, we had only one electoral area coordinator. This time around, we're going to have 5. We have 5 electoral area coordinators. So every single electoral area has 5 executives. When we amended our constitution in Legon, it saw that. Even at the polling station level, we had 5 people. Now we have 7. Okay? And then we have 5 at the electoral area. Then we have the constituency that we have done. We are done with the constituency as well. Some 1 or 2 constituencies have not been done yet because of some bit of issues. Of course, you cannot have it 100%. Again, from the constituency, we used to have 17. Now they're going to have 19 executives. Okay? Then from there, we come to the region, which, inshallah, shall be held from tomorrow. I think that most of the regions are going to have their elections tomorrow, Saturday. Northern region, where I come from, is going to see their election held tomorrow, inshallah. And we have about 4 people contesting for the chairmanship. The best person wins. We are only hoping and praying that whoever wins would have to bring everybody on board, strategize, What did we get wrong the last time? What did we get right the last time? How do we come together to put together our strategies again and then prosecute the campaign to assess the flag bearer and the party, as it were? So, like you said, yes, we have announced also the opening of nomination for the national, because after the regions, we are now moving to national. It was supposed to be on the 19th of September, as it were. Then we have moved it from the September to October now. And I believe that those who are all running around for such positions are all qualified. They are able men and women of the party, and nothing stops them from seeking for such offices. Our only prayer is to get an executive that will bring the unity that we need, that will bring the strength that the party needs to assist our flag bearer to win the election come 2028. So we are on course, and then we are working hard as a party, but without a doubt, trust me, we're going to do things like never before. I have always said, let us micromanage whatever we are doing. The polling station is the most important part. What can we do there? How can we go about it? Okay, I believe all these executives we are elected should have their eyes on the ball. Okay. And in this case, the polling stations scattered around the country.
I mean, Ebo, the NPP, I saw a smile on your face when
the man has not answered the question you asked him. What kind of leadership do they need? And he's going round.
You were not listening to me. You're watching your phone. I've told you, we need leaders who will strengthen the party, and we have done well.
Maybe I'll come to you. Ebo, I saw a smile on your face when he talked about how they had gone about it in a novel manner. You seem to disagree.
They are incorrigible. You can't advise them. So I'm not here to advise them.
When you have 31,000 people, how can you advise somebody? You don't even have a strong party. You can sit here with 31,000 people, you call yourself a political party, and you want to advise someone. Who will listen to you?
You see, in our presidential election, there's nothing like second position.
I say you're 31,000 people.
There's nothing like second.
Even that you call yourself a political party.
There's nothing like second position. NDC won, all of us lost. It's as simple as that.
Political party.
No, you are in opposition, I'm in opposition.
That's a lie.
Yeah,
no.
So let's move on.
You are not.
You see?
You are a de facto person in power.
You see, MPP has made 2 mistakes already. One of the mistakes can be corrected. First mistake is the leadership they have in parliament. I don't think it's the kind of leadership that has been able to resonate with most Ghanaians. I mean, their style of leadership in parliament leaves much to be desired, honestly speaking. So that mistake is pending. Then another mistake is the kind of candidate they elected. I told you, apart from the fact that he has shown to be a weak leader and also an incompetent leader, he's also not marketable. I've said it here, that when it comes to the marketability of any product, it depends more on the market in which that product is being sold than even the product itself. So you can even have a good product for a bad market. So, but it becomes problematic if the product itself is defective and it's not also good for the market. For example, wanting to make profit from sale of pork at a Zongo market. I mean, no matter how you advertise and sell, people will not buy. So that mistake has also been made. I don't expect them to make a third mistake, to elect a leader who will not be able to at least unite the party. That is what they need. You see, their problem is beyond leadership. But at least if you're able to solve the leadership in terms of how the party can mobilize itself for future elections, I think it will be good for the party. But already, as I told you, they have a lot of problems. See, they are already panicking. Let me show you. Let me read something to you. Kofi Tonto posted something yesterday or so. And there's a clear, you understand why I talk the issue of marketability and the market in which you are selling. In 2028, in 2008 and 2024, they use the tribal card. In 2028, they will deploy religious scaremongering, but they will fail. We will stem their evil tides and rise up as one people. Ghana will not break on religious scaremongering. Ghana will not break on religious grounds. Ghana shall stand, democracy shall win. You see, clear case of panicking. You choose a candidate, you are panicking.
I see.
You see, the point I'm making.
What point is he making?
No, my point is made from I just read something. Didn't you hear what I read? Didn't you hear what I read?
No, come on, allow him. Please conclude for me.
No, didn't you hear what I read?
Conclude for me.
So the point I'm making is that already a political party that has a very bad record in terms of how you manage the economy, in terms of corruption, in terms of galamsey. So all these things are there already, plus the candidate you have. Then I'm saying that if you know you have all this baggage, electing a leader to lead the party, to manage the party, you should be very careful as to the kind of leader you are going to elect. Other than that, then you are going to exacerbate your problems as a political party.
Maybe I'll give you the final word on the NPP. I mean, it's in your interest that they elect a formidable team, or you rather want a weak team so that you have a field day, you win the next election, you move on.
You see, leadership is about three things: to guide, to inspire, and to influence. So, if you look at these three characteristics, the current leadership of the MPP cannot boast of any of this. And that's why they brought them into opposition. Now, they have an opportunity to select new people or to select among themselves again. These are the characteristics they should be looking for. The reason why this should be the characteristics they should be looking for is because leadership is cause. Everything else is effect. If you don't have a leader who can inspire you, the follower, towards a certain goal, and what is their goal? Their goal is to come into power. But it's the leadership, and here, strategic leadership. And I'm sending him to leadership course. And here we're talking about strategic leadership. And strategic leadership is combining operational needs of the party. Because the people they are going to vote are the ones who are going to be on the daily basis operational. They are operational people. So you combine the operational needs of the party as against the bigger goal, which is to get power. So for him to sit here and say that all of them are qualified, they've already lost. Because he said that all those who have put themselves there are qualified. We're not talking about qualification in terms of your regulations. Are you a member of the party for 4 years? That's not it. That will not send you to power. And Ebo has said that their leadership in parliament is in shambles. I have never seen an opposition leader such as Afenyo Market. And that day Afenyo Market was in parliament recounting leaders who came to who were minority leaders under JH was the chairman was Papa Osankum. He even forgot to mention somebody. They didn't know there used to be a fine gentleman known as Abraham Osei Oju, a very fine gentleman, nice gentleman. As Afenyo Markets, all of these people know. Which of them conducts himself like he in parliament? Because when you are in opposition now, you need to have a voice that people listen to. But if Afenyo Market just get out, hey, why?
Why is what?
People know what I'm talking about. So, if you don't have a leader who can galvanize and mobilize you to your goal, then you are bound to fail. So this current leadership must all be put aside if they want their party. And I'm doing this, giving them a piece of advice because I want a strong democracy. Else I would have gone the way you went, asking me that question.
You prefer that they retain the current leaders and
the kind of question you are asking me just to trigger me to say things, you know. So, so for the strength of our democracy, we need people who can galvanize the MPP to be a strong opposition so that at least they will keep us on our toes.
Okay.
Yes.
Come on in briefly.
Yeah, you see, it's interesting. It is not what Ebu wants or what Amaba wants that we will do. They don't teach us. Look, in any case, we have elected a leader who has never downplayed the strength of his party by calling that party a lame horse. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who is now the president, when he lost abysmally in 2016, he said he rode a lame horse into the party, into the election, i.e. referring to his what? Party. Okay. Today, you sit here and say Afenyo Market should behave like the way you want him to behave. What Afenyo Market is doing is exactly what we want him to do. And he will continue to do it. Look, they can go and bend the sea. 2, we will not elect a leader who will come and sit down and tell us that Ghana is a Christian country alone, when we know it's a secular country. He's a responsible leader, Dr. Bawumia. Dr. Bawumia will not sit down and play religious card. Okay. He's somebody who will carry everybody along. All right. Unlike the Ghost Party, who will have leaders who will come and say Ghana is a segregated country and that it is only a Christian country. We will not do that. And you come and sit there and say somebody has. What Kofi Tonto wrote was to tell us that we should eschew what we call religiosity in our party politics. All right, sure. It's not proper. Yes, you have irresponsible leaders, and we are talking about somebody who is responsible. You have irresponsible, incompetent leaders. We are talking about that. Really? That's interesting. I'm surprised about it. I'm surprised. I am totally surprised.
I told you they are incorrigible.
Let's get serious.
You see,
my leader. Don't talk again.
But he's talking.
My leader.
Maybe he has to talk.
No, that's right now. Yes,
my leader.
Who says Ghana is only a Christian country?
Has not engaged in any religious politics.
Christian country?
The first person to engage in religious politics in Ghana is Dr. Bawumia. Oh, the video is out there.
My brother.
So please, the place, the place you are, at least where you are walking is slippery. So just be careful.
To go and slap pastors.
All right.
Our party hasn't taught anybody to go and slap a pastor.
All right.
We will not do that.
Okay, so let's do some messages. Let's do some messages that have come in.
Let me make this point. Let me make this point. You see, if Movement for Change had the kind of resources and control MPP had.
You are 31,000 people.
MPP used to lose that election.
Okay, let's do some messages now. This one here from Notedria. You are a clinical psychologist. You send this. You said it's amazing that we have a National Development Planning Commission and we allow politicians to run this country aground. You also add that we need to assess how many scholarship beneficiaries are back home, enhancing our national growth and development. Headline news on malfeasance, many criminal with no clear present punitive consequences are being. Notedria is a clinical psychologist. I think he's the same person.
That popular. I mean, in those days,
I think he's the one.
Yeah. You said there's no deterrent, just hypocritical selective endorsement of corporates. Thank you for sending this message. Musa Abatwa in Asawasi, you say that MPP's current crisis is rooted in selfish interest and internal divisions which began long ago in Western and Akufo-Addo. Our concern is that Ghana needs a credible opposition to hold government accountable. We wish the MPP well, but while they continue fighting amongst themselves there. And this one, my loved ones have asked me to tell AB that you shouldn't refer to me as poor or needy. They said I'm rich in the eyes of the Lord. Amen. Thank you very much for sending. Thank you very much for sending that message.
After this show, send your request again. Okay.
Please let me practice my law in peace. Don't come and tell me that I'm not qualified in 4 years to come. My guests this morning have been Kamaldeen Abdullahi with the New Patriotic Party, Ebo Bakman is with the United Party, AB is with the National Democratic Congress, and Director of the National Road Safety Authority. Thank you so much for sending your messages. We are not done. We have a lot more coming up here on New Day. Still, we are doing the draw. You have the chance to win some good money. We're going to give out 2,000 cedis and 3,000 cedis. All you have to do is to dial *439# select option 8 MJ jackpot as well. So that is what we are doing. You get a chance to either win 2,000 or 3,000 cedis. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back with more. Stay tuned in.
Of course, after electric energy, you've got the latest in sport. Yore Kwampopo is here. Hi, Reku.
Hi, Chris.
You are not dancing to the song. I hope you're well.
Yeah, I'm well.
The Tourism Minister, Blanche Fakomashi, has been talking about 3FM's tour to Ghana.
Yeah, and we're inching ever closer to the event, which is set to take place on August 28th. It's for 2 days this time, where cyclists are expected to ride all the way from Accra through to Kwahu on day 1, and then for day 2 from Kwahu to Kumasi. And so it's an exciting journey, a very long but exciting journey that we're all looking forward to. And this year, there's a partnership with the Ghana Tourism Authority as well. And so, we did speak to the minister, who mentioned that it's good to see such initiatives because it does, in the end, help improve the tourism in the country. So let's take a listen to what she had to say.
Is wings on which we are going to fly. Promoting and branding and celebrating Ghana is not an individual's job. It needs all of us to put our shoulders to the wheel. And one of the ways in which we can showcase our country is to join forces with TV3 and its Ride the Rhythm to expose what we are not able to do, and also use the opportunity to include sports and all the other entertainment domains, so that packaging what we have as Ghana becomes easier to do.
Tourism Minister there, of course, acknowledging the importance of doing this. But beyond that is also the WBA World Eliminator issue.
Yes, so there's a huge boxing bout later this weekend on Saturday, which will be live on TV3, actually. It is all the way in Buenos Aires in Argentina, where Robledo would be facing John Lai, who he's from Ghana, and he's undefeated. He's worked very hard to get to where he is now. And usually, you know what the eliminator is? Eliminator is almost the second biggest fight, because after that, if you're able to win, that means that you're now eligible for a world title fight. And so it's been a while since we've seen a Ghanaian in a world title fight. So this is a big deal, not just for John Lai, but also for Ghana boxing as well. Interestingly, the people who manage Lai are familiar faces, Asamoah and Samir Nimado, who are really huge people when it comes to Ghanaian football in terms of playing and administration. And they've been speaking ahead of the bout on Saturday.
But I will inspire you with what I have been through, when it comes to crowd and everything, and going to somebody's territory. The fans are going to shout. The fans are going to shout. I always tell him, even when I was playing, my most goals that I scored for Ghana was away. My most goals that I scored was an away game. So it's like the fans will be cheering, but you and the opponent are in the ring, and he knows what you are going to do to him. So don't just forget about the crowd, and then focus on you and the person in the ring. So he knows what is at stake, and we've watched his clips. We've seen his weakness. We've seen everything. We've had a good game plan that we're going to exhibit. That is what we do. We are there to just guide the boy.
I always get excited when I see a Samuel, but when I saw the eliminator, though, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator came to mind. Yes, yeah. But beyond that, we've got WAFCON as well. It's still going on.
Yes, and there's the WAFCON, which technically is not part of the competition. They call it a play-in. It's usually the post-tournament, shenanigans. And so Ghana definitely are not going to win the title. Would not get a medal. We're knocked out of the quarterfinals. However, this is a play-in to lead to the playoff for the World Cup slots. And unfortunately, by failing to beat Malawi, Ghana took the longer route. And they started on a good note. Needed to beat Cote d'Ivoire in the play-in, which they did. It was a difficult one because they conceded a penalty in the early minutes of the game. And, it could have been a tricky one for them, but I think they held their nerve. And in the second half, they continued to pile the pressure and got, a very deserved goal after they thought that Stella Nyamiche's equalizer would stand. However, that didn't stand, and they ended up getting the equalizer with about 20 minutes remaining, and then getting the winner as well from the penalty spot converted by Josephine Barr. And so I think it's been a good one. I mean, the question will be, where was this against Malawi? But sometimes you just have to move on and look for it. And they had 5 games to play to reach a World Cup. Probably need to win all 5. They won the first, and so now there's 4 more remaining. Up next will be the preliminary phase of the World Cup playoff, which would take place in November through to December. They would be playing 3 games in that one, and they need to finish top 2 to be able to qualify for the final phase, which is just 1 game. And so it's a long journey. If you look at the teams that have qualified so far, like the likes of Ecuador, Papua New Guinea, if you're looking at the list, I think about 6 out of 10 of them, all of them, the Black Queens are probably the lowest ranked team. South Africa themselves have also qualified.
Yeah, because they've been Nigeria. I was wondering what happened to Nigeria.
Yes, for the first time there will be no Nigeria in the Women's World Cup. So, I mean, yeah, it won't be an easy journey, but I think that they kept themselves alive, and that's the most important thing sometimes. And from now up until November, a lot can change. And so that's what Kim last week again will be hoping for, that there are no injuries, the players are informed when the playoffs come around, and then they'll be able to qualify for the World Cup, because it's been a long time.
But it would be a miracle to come on top.
No, yeah, I think so, because it would have to be against all the odds, because Ghana the ranking is not good.
Yeah.
It's not good. And so, usually you are seeded in these type of draws. So in a draw perspective, it means that Ghana would be getting the toughest teams out of these lots, because Ghana's ranking is not great.
Because of how we played from the beginning. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the situation that the Black Queens find themselves. However, a reminder that our WAFCON coverage was brought to you by Goldfields, and champions are not made on match day. They are shaped by belief, opportunity, and the support of those who stand beside them every step of the way. Now, as football takes center stage around the world, Goldfields proudly continues its more than 2 decades support of Ghana football, backing the national teams and helping grow the game. Go Black Queens, go Blackfields, go Goldfields, championing women's football and inclusion, creating enduring value beyond mining. And so, yeah, we'll be rooting for the Black Queens in the next few months.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're able to pull it through.
Hopefully. I like that one. 2026 Community Shield.
Yeah, so Anton Semenyo, he won 2 trophies with Manchester City in just 6 months. He joined them in January, and he has the opportunity to win a 3rd this weekend. It's the usual curtain raiser for the season, where you have the winner of the FA Cup face the winner of the English Premier League. And so that is Manchester City versus Arsenal. And for Semenyo, these are his numbers with Manchester City so far. 11 goals, 2 assists in 27 games, and also won the FA Cup and the EFL Cup. We'll be looking to add the Community Shield later on Sunday.
All right, what else do we need to know? I know your team is back at 10, but ahead of that, what else do you need to know?
So, yeah, I think it's a big weekend. There's a lot to look forward to, a lot of transfer stories, some involving Ghanaian players, and also La Liga kicks off this weekend as well. And so you do want to join us at Sports Daily at 10 a.m. as we get you ready for a big weekend. And
there you have it, the Oreo Kwampo for bringing us all we need to know in sports. And like you heard him say, he's back at 10. So if you want to get to know more, join the team at 10 a.m. And we promised you early on in the day that we're giving 5,000 Ghana cedis to 2 of you. And we asked you to dial *439# and pick option 8. Someone has already pulled through, as it were. And Koko, are we speaking to the person, or are we showing the... All right, so we'll be doing the draw very shortly, and you get to find out whether you're the one who won either the 2,000 or the 3,000 Ghana cedis. So keep your dials here and stay with us. We're back shortly with some more.